This production of Grant High School football is brought to you by Grant Boosters. Grant Boosters raises money for Grant High School's many diverse clubs and athletic teams. Grant's clubs and teams keep our kids inspired, active, and connected. The success of Grant's clubs and teams would not be possible without the support of parents, friends, and family like you. Please give what you can to help us reach our fundraising goal for this year. You can do so directly online at grantgives.com. This production of Grant High School football is brought to you by Grant Boosters. Grant Boosters raises money for Grant High School's many diverse clubs and athletic teams. Grant's clubs and teams keep our kids inspired, active, and connected. The success of Grant's clubs and teams would not be possible without the support of parents, friends, and family like you. Please give what you can to help us reach our fundraising goal for this year. You can do so directly online at grantgives.com. Friends of Grant Football is a non-profit organization that exists to build on Grant's strong football tradition, providing long-term viability and to provide the resources required to support the Grant football community, past, present, and future. Friends of Grant Football would like to thank our 2019 Grant Football corporate and individual supporters and sponsors in the theme of our mission. Friends of Grant Football strives to enrich the lives of players, students, alumni, and administration by providing a program that sustains generation after generation in the pursuit of academic and athletic excellence. Our values are aligned with a tradition that extends beyond many generations of alumni who have passed through the hallways, representing PIL leadership in a challenging and supportive athletic environment. The foundation of the Generals is built on integrity, accountability, inclusion, and a proud competitive spirit. Please visit friendsofgrantfootball.com to join our efforts and participate within our Grant football community.
And a very happy start to the fall season. To you and your families, as the temperature begins to change, the autumn air freshens our senses, and the leaves modify color. And that only means one thing, and that's not cleaning out your garage. But what it does mean, it's the start to the greatest sport on grass that can be traced back all the way to November 6, 1869, as Rutgers and Princeton played what was billed as the first organized football game. And it all started with the father of American football, Walter Camp, who transformed rugby into the new game and what we know it today as American gridiron football. However, that was 123 years ago, and many, many football games have been played since. And that has allowed for many, many memorable moments. But now, the Grant Generals coming in here to West Salem tonight with a 2-0 record, ranked number 9 in the state, the 6-time OSAA state champion and 25-time PIL champion, as we got an exciting one here live from Salem. Hello, everyone, and welcome here to another exciting broadcast brought to you by the Friends of Grant Football, powered by Table Rock Sports. We're here live at West Salem High School in the iconic black turf that so many folks talk about. It's the only school in the country at the high school level that gets to play on such wonderful surface. My name is Brian Gregg, and I'll be bringing you all the action. I'll introduce Mitch Bukite, my color guy, here momentarily. We're about 15 minutes until we kick this one off, as John Beck and the 2-0 Grant Generals are looking to extend their record to 3-0 and look to get back to the playoffs, where unfortunately they were eliminated last year to the Jesuit Crusaders. We'll take a quick timeout, but when we come back, I'll introduce Mitch Bukite and an opportunity to provide our pregame show insights. You're watching live coverage of Grant football powered by Table Rock Sports.
Let's go! At US Cellular, we heard you. You want a wireless plan that works for you. That's why we're giving you unlimited data for just $30 on a network ranked #1 in network quality performance. All that and no hidden fees. That's the best value in wireless. That work for you? US Cellular. Choose fair.
For the best deals in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere, visit Siskiyou Cellular, your local US Cellular agent. 7 locations, including Central Point off Plaza Boulevard.
Doctors James Savage and Rajiv Rajagopal are happy to welcome Dr. Brian Clevenger to the Associates for Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery. Their offices in Medford, Grants Pass, and Klamath Falls practice a full scope of services from corrective jaw surgery to wisdom teeth removal and much more. For more information or to schedule your complimentary dental implant consultation, call 541-779-3781.
For several weeks, the Southern Oregon Sports Commission has shown you examples of good sportsmanship and bad sportsmanship. Here's why. 75% of youth athletes quit sports by the age of 13 because they're not having fun. 75% of rookie referees also quit each year. Why? Well, it's because of the way they're treated by coaches and parents. We can do better. We must do better. Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
I'm Pat Cox with Sherm's Food Stores. The employees of Sherm's are proud to be part of your community.
We have thousands of customers in our stores every day, and our checkers know a lot of them on a first-name basis. They tend to enjoy what they do, and they love it, so it reflects in how they treat the customer.
If you live anywhere in Southern Oregon, there's a Sherm's store near you. We hope to see you soon.
If you shop with us, you will save money.
Welcome back to the state capitol here at West Salem High School. Brian Gregg here on the call as the band makes their way to the track here, as we will have our national anthem here momentarily. But I'd like to welcome in our color commentator for this broadcast. Didn't come too far away, but Mitch Bukite joining us here from the beautiful Sublimity, Oregon. So,
yes.
So Mitch, it's kind of a little bit in your backyard here.
A little bit.
You've certainly played in
Familiar.
this type of environment here. But as these two young men or two teams come out here this year, Grant starts off 2-0. They had an emotional victory last week.
Big one.
West Salem, unfortunately, loses last week on the road. Now the Grant Generals go on the road for their first road contest here. What does head coach John Beck of Grant telling his team right now is you're heading on the road for the very first time?
Well, you know, the first thing that they need to be is focused. You cannot go on the road in any sport, really at any level of football, and not be focused. You have to go out there. You got to make sure you're performing all your tasks, all your duties. You've got to be the guy that does not screw up tonight. You can't have any opportunity slip past you. No broken tackles. You've got to finish the tackle, get them down to the ground, get them down to this turf here, this beautiful black turf that we're looking at up here in the press box, Brian and I. And let me tell you what, I'm excited. I know you're excited. Well, let's get some football going here.
Let's get some football going here as the fans from West Salem make their way in here. What a beautiful facility here. West Salem has only been around for a number of years, and so we're up here in this wonderful media center. The press box is absolutely phenomenal, and we just got a great football game ahead of us here. Last week, West Salem went on the road to Bend, and unfortunately, their first game of the year, they took on Lake Oswego, the dominant Lake Oswego, and they lost that one 42-21. However, they bounced back, went on the road, and they were able to take down the Lava Bears 44-19. So West Salem, Mitch, is coming in here with a victory. Grant's coming down on the road here. You've been in these type of games before.
Yep.
What are these young men thinking about right now as they're sitting in the locker room right now? What is going through their mind, or what are the emotions that they're feeling?
A lot of emotions. That's exactly what I was going to start with right there. A lot of emotions. There's a lot of things. You have to make sure you keep yourself contained, because if you really try to get out there and expand past your capabilities, what you're going to end up doing is hurting your team. And that's something in a position that nobody really wants to be in, especially when you're coming off a big road win there. And you want to keep that momentum building towards this week, next week, the rest of the remainder of the season, really. Each week is going to get a little tougher. People are going to get a little bit more banged up. People are going to get a little bit more tape on your guys, and that's just what it comes down to is being more prepared for the next team. The guy that you're facing against you, you have to be more prepared. You have to keep your emotions contained and keep your mind right, because that's what's ultimately going to come down to you winning the game and you beating the guy across the line of scrimmage from you. And
Go ahead, Mitch.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just was going to elaborate a little bit more on that and just about the whole emotional part of this game. And I know they're going to get started here soon with the national anthem. That's kind of when your emotions really start to get to you and your eyes start to open up a little wider. I know the fans are trickling in here from Grant. The general, they're just a great crowd to come in. I know that. West Salem always brings a great crowd. This is just going to be a great game. Just got to keep those emotions intact.
We got ourselves a great game here as we're going to kick this one off here in about 7 minutes as the Generals make their way down I-5 for their first road test, and head coach John Beck looking to get his team to 3-0. Don't go anywhere, fans. When we come back, Mitch and I will provide our thoughts about the Grant Generals and take a moment here to thank our sponsors. This one brought to you in part by On Point.
I was talking to Bill.
Yeah?
Bill and Sherry got a guy.
They do? How did they get a guy?
Everything happened online, including financing. And their guy even delivered their new car to their home.
Maybe we should get a guy.
I thought you might say that. Honey, meet Kyle.
Find your guy during the Ram Power Days going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford and on lithiasuperstore.com. Not a dealership, a partnership.
This year, don't just replace your windows, renew them with beautiful and energy-efficient windows from Bill's Glass. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home or auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 40 years. Bill's Glass in Ashland and Medford, and now Bill's Glass in Grants Pass.
Welcome back to the broadcast here. Mitch Buchheit, Brian Gregg here on the call, as this broadcast would not be possible with the Friends of Grant football. However, there's other organizations that make this opportunity football. First, I'd like to recognize the Oregon Army National Guard is proud to be a gold-level sponsor of Friends of Grant football. The Guard dates back all the way to 1636, when citizen soldiers formed militias to defend community and country. And for 377 years, the Guard has stayed true to its roots. Enlisting in the National Guard means more time at home, and reigning typically requires 1 week in each month with 2 weeks of training each period a year. Get a degree with money for school, learn job skills that translate to the civilian world, and make bonds that will last a lifetime and earn pride for your life. When you become a Guard soldier, your family will thank you, your country will thank you, and the future will owe you. Contact your recruiter to find out more specifics about your opportunities with the Oregon National Guard. So as the Titans come out onto the field here, you can certainly sense that it's about go time here. Mitch, as a team like the Titans coming back from a big win on the road here, let's talk a little about the Grant Generals here. Head coach John Beck is no stranger to a lot of victories here. Both teams are, I would say, are a juggernaut really with all the success that West Salem has had. But if you're head coach John Beck of the Generals here, what message are you sending your team before they come out in the locker room?
Oh, man, this is that's a great question, Brian. And really it comes down to just making sure you keep your focal points. Each coach has a bulletin board. He's got his material up there. You really got to make sure you stay focused on those bullet points there. Everything's going to be highlighted. You know West Salem knows that your strengths, and they're going to try to expose your weaknesses. So you really got to make sure you're on top of your game. It looks like we're getting ready for the national anthem here, so we're getting real close. We're less than 3 minutes. I know Grant is really starting to show up.
All right, this is Adam. Take 2. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
What is a role model? A person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. What is sportsmanship? Fair and generous behavior or treatment of others, especially in a sports contest. This new school year, we want children to enjoy their experience in organized athletics. Let's pledge to make lifelong positive memories for our youth and know your role.
Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
All right, this is Adam. Take 2. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
What is a role model? A person looked to by others as an example.
As our nation colors are provided there by the West Salem Titan Marching Band. And Mitch, I would say that a high school event does not really feel like it starts, you alluded to it before, until the national anthem gets played there. You talked about it before we went to the break there, that once you hear that, the marching band playing the national anthem, all of a sudden it's like, okay, guys, let's strap it up.
Yep.
It's time. It's go time right now.
Yep. I got some chicken skin going right now.
As the Grant Generals make their way.
It's been years since I've played here, especially at this level.
Yeah.
And I know what these guys are going through, and it's just pure excitement. You know, there's really nothing more than a Friday night. You know, you got I see the jerseys out here. You got the girls wearing the jerseys and everything. It's just pure excitement. These guys, I know how excited they are. They're ready to hit somebody. Getting that first big hit out of the way is always a special moment, you know, especially on that Friday. That Friday evening, the sun is starting to go down. We're starting to get some darkness over here, and the lights are going to be trickling on. Looks like they actually are popped on already. So we're going to see the reflections off the helmets. We're going to see the people really get down and in their seat and really kind of lock in and get this football game started.
So as the captains for both teams make their way out to center field, and West Salem will defer to the second half, so the Grant Generals will have the opportunity to put points on the board first. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the playmakers here for the Grant Generals. First, at quarterback, a junior, Logan Goings, who not only can get it done through the air with his arm, but his ability to scramble and run with the football is a huge advantage for head coach John Beck. At the running backs, it's safe to say it's thunder and lightning. Jayshon Pete and Jackson Manford, both juniors, certainly the men behind there, and head coach John Beck says we got some other guys even behind them that can run the football. At the slot position, Tymon Davis, also a junior. Luke Borchardt, who had a wonderful week last Friday, Mitch, scoring 4 touchdowns.
Oh, don't short him.
For the Grant Generals here, so he's certainly a playmaker as well.
Great
and then
job.
The big man there not only can block, but he can also catch a ball out in the flats, Peter Zahari. So the Generals, once again, are dangerous on offense. They have a lot of playmakers. They're very fast. They have a lot of speed here. I imagine head coach John Beck wants to come out, and he wants to put points on the board quickly and fast, and he wants to make a statement to West Salem here.
Oh, absolutely, and it really starts with that first punch. You really need to set the tone early. Make sure you have those guys kind of on their heels. You know, you don't want to make sure that those guys are getting ahead. Make sure you're lower than them at the line of scrimmage. That's the most important thing. You got to dominate the line of scrimmage, and that goes really at all levels of football. Nothing new there. If you're familiar with the sport, the line of scrimmage is always what's going to dominate the football game. And as long as you can run that football, you can throw that football. And really, that's what it comes down to, is that line of scrimmage, and you really got to make sure that you have your guys prepared to go tonight. It's going to be the big boys. It's going to be the game one down in the trenches. The big guys are really going to take it home this evening.
First game out of the year, Mitch. Grant played a good football game. They had a lot of penalties. They had a lot of just dumb penalties. And so head coach John Beck certainly wants to minimize those. So the Grant Generals make their way down I-5 for their very first game of road contest of the year, and we are underway as West Salem with a bit of a pooch kick here to the far side of the field.
Boy, they're really trying to make them, trying to make sure they're focused this early, like we were saying pregame here. It's a little pooch kick, as Brian elaborated on. It's just about a 30-yard kick is all, 25 yards. And the Grant Generals did recover, so they are going to take over 1st and 10.
1st and 10 from the Generals' 35-yard line as the Generals come out, and the first time wearing their road uniforms. They're all white with their blue shells. And then the blending of uniforms as the all-black tops and bottoms with the green shells and that black field turf out there. So we'll do our best as Mitch and I are looking forward to calling this one here as we got about 2 hours of football. As Logan Goings will go into the gun, empty backfield, 2 at the top, 3 at the bottom. And we will have our first penalty of the game. And that will be head coach John Beck will not make him real pleased there, as I believe it's a delay of game. And, Mitch, I certainly have to assume that a little bit of nerves going on right there for a quarterback. Logan Going just couldn't get the play start going.
Absolutely. It certainly seemed that way. He just had a little struggle getting that word hike out of his mouth. It looks like he's good now.
Goings with a 5-yard pickup. As the young man, as we had mentioned before in the pregame show, Mitch not only can get it done with his arm, but he also has the ability to run into the open field. And so John Beck running his quarterback here early. As Goings now once again will go into that empty set, 2 at the top, 3 at the bottom. 4-3 defense here shown by the Titans. And Goings,
there's a blitz down. The linebackers blitzing.
Goings got trouble there, and he will get close to the first down marker as he will get to the 45-yard line. So, Mitch, that's what we talked about before, is his ability to realize that there's pressure, advance the football up the field, and he picks up a nice gain there to bring up a very, very manageable 3rd and short.
Oh, just great vision there by Logan. He really saw the linebacker blitz. The backer was coming through the B gap, and he went to the other side. It was just a great vision. Great pickup there by the quarterback.
As Goings will give it to a speedster up the middle, and he will pick up the first down. As that there was Luke McCullough, was the young man there responsible for the first down. Good to see him getting some touches here early. So the first down of the game as the contest started with a delay of game. And now it seems as though, Mitch, that the Generals have settled down a little bit here.
Absolutely.
And now they will go.
They're going with a more of a compact formation here. Let's see what they have up their sleeve. Let's see if they decide to run it here with Logan. Nope.
Double tight there, and unfortunately another penalty here for the Generals. And, Mitch, we had talked about that in the pregame show, that the first game of the year there was a lot of penalties here. And knowing John Beck personally, there's one thing he always preaches to his team is, guys, don't beat yourself. And unfortunately already they've faced 2 penalties thus far.
2 penalties. Yep, just got to be a little bit disappointed.
And before, Mitch, you were able to finish your sentence there, unfortunately that is the 3rd penalty of the game for the Generals.
Boy, right when you think they're getting settled in there, they seem like they might have some secondary thoughts on formations. As we've seen a delay of game, we've seen a false start here. So just really got to get settled in. Stay focused here, Grant.
First down along 20 as Goings will go double tight, 2 at the top, single set behind him. Goings looking downfield, has a man, and this one is just off the fingertips.
Boy, great ball there by Logan. Right on the money.
As that one is intended for Luke Borchardt, who had 4 touchdowns last week, but he is unable to bring that one in. So first ball that we've seen thrown in the air thus far, Mitch, here, and he was looking for his man Luke, and that seems to always be a safe play for knowing for a guy that can get open, especially up and down the seam.
Yeah, it's a great play call there. First down, try to pick up some yardage. You got a couple penalties. You got to take a chance. You got a great receiver there on the end. He had a one-on-one matchup, just couldn't make the catch.
2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, single set behind him. Has Goings, low snaps, got to get rid of it, and this one is intercepted. Has Goings, throws it right into Titan, and that one will be intercepted. As that interception was by Kyle Misiawu, and that is not the start that head coach John Beck was looking for there as the pressure came through, Mitch.
They really broke the line there. The West Salem Titans really won the line of scrimmage there on that particular snap. And it just goes to show those guys, he's got to sit them down, get his offense back together, and really, decide whether they want to really dig their heels in and win this football game. Because as we've been preaching all game, it's definitely one right there in the trenches. The defense is on the field now. We're going to go ahead and see the West Salem first snap of the evening.
Jackson Lowry will give it to his running back up the middle there. So after Logan Goings throws his first interception of the season, the Titans have excellent field position.
And, for just going off of that interception there, Logan, sometimes that isn't actually a bad thing. To get that first one, just kind of get that weight off your shoulders. Now, he's not afraid to make those mistakes. He has that interception. If you want to look at it in a positive matter, that's what you really got to look at. You got to understand that he has that out of the way. It's off his chest. He can go ahead and play football now.
Nick Pasley, the receiver there, as he picks up about 3. And another penalty flag on the field. And the Titans in the blacks are pointing to the opposition, the Generals here, as we wait for the official with the white cap to come over and signal to us. And a personal foul face mask. And so that will, in addition, push the Titans near the goal line with a 15-yard penalty. So 5 penalties have been the Achilles heel thus far, Mitch, for the Generals here. And, unfortunately, those aggressive style of plays, but sometimes you get your hand a little bit there on that mask, and sometimes it's hard to get your hand off.
Yeah. Sometimes it almost feels natural just to grab onto something, get the tackle made, grab onto something. You got to understand, though. And luckily at that point, it's just half the distance to the goal line, I believe, for that penalty. Bringing on another tight end here. They're going to run the ball.
As I believe that was Jacob Tinseth again. Scrambles up down to the left-hand side of the field here. So that'll bring up a second and goal here for the 1-1 West Salem Titans as the Generals 2-0 on the year. The Titans come in here ranked 21st ranked team in the state. And many great contests have taken place here as we have a wonderful venue here. I'm just absolutely blown away at how wonderful this environment is, and not only for us, but also for these fans in this relatively new high school. As Jackson Lowry will give it to his man once again, Jacob Tinseth, and he will get to near the goal line. And we are waiting for a call, and just short of the goal line as the officials on the far side did not signal here. So it's to a 3rd down and 1 here for the Titans.
Looks like they're going with the quick snap. They might give it right back to Tinseth. There, he looks like he did get it.
Tinseth inside, and points on the board first, and they go to the young men in black as the Titans get on the board first with the 6-0 score after the Logan Going interceptions. The Titans capitalize, and we're a point away from making this a 7-0 football game. As that Tinseth once again ran that ball up inside there, Mitch, and was able to capitalize.
Big part of that drive, wasn't he? He had a lot to do with there, a lot of yards. As the kick goes up and is through the uprights, as they will tack on one more to make it 7-0. West Salem Titans, they are the first to put points on the board here in this evening's match, as we are going to go ahead and see what Grant can do once they get the ball back. Will be interesting to see if West Salem decides to do another little pooch kick here, giving the ball right back to Grant.
We'll take a quick timeout. As Mitch alluded to, the Generals looking to respond after.
Hello, I'm Officer Mike Jackson, Medford Police Department School Resource Officer for South Medford High School, as well as 5 elementary schools nearby. With 5 resource officers working in partnership with Medford schools, safety is a top priority and essential to promoting a positive learning environment. SROs receive specialized training in how to communicate with students in a school setting and also teach classes to students, staff, and parents on important safety issues. I'm School Resource Officer Mike Jackson, working to ensure the safety of our students.
The Associates for Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery provide professional, personal, and compassionate care for their patients. Their offices in Medford, Grants Pass, and Klamath Falls practice the full scope of services, from corrective jaw surgery to wisdom teeth removal and much more.
Welcome back to West Salem. as the Titans get on the board first. Has the score 7-0.
Boy, are they trying to avoid Jay Sean there with that kick or what? Another pooch. Very dangerous man back there.
So after the unfortunate interception here, and, Mitch, I certainly do agree with you that, sometimes when you try to get rid of that football rather than take the sack, it's usually the right heads-up play. But unfortunately on that prior possession there, the ball found the hands of the wrong team.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just something that, that you take the sack. If you don't have that opportunity, you need to take the sack. I believe it was a screenplay that went bad, if I remember correctly. It was just something that the defense was able to get to the quarterback there before anything else.
So false start penalty there for the Generals. So the 6th penalty of the game. So that's never an ideal situation here. 8:22 to go here in the first. As the handoff will go to the big man over to the left-hand side. And he will be knocked out of bounds there. As that was D.D. Phillips touching the football for the first time. The speedster.
Speaking of dangerous man, D.D. Phillips. Boy, I tell you what, that guy can fly.
Double tight here, 2 at the bottom. Goins continues to stay in that run-pass option. That's Jay Sean Pete to the right of him. Let's see if the Generals
Here's another linebacker blitz.
Some to go in here. Ball downfield and another interceptions by Goings. And the Titans have control of this one. As this time on the interception, it is Ion Tatali, and he takes that one all the way down to the 20-yard line. So 2 interceptions thus far, Mitch, for the Generals of Grant.
Yeah, you really got to, it's kind of gut check time. You really got to figure out what plays you're going to line up next go-around. You got to get him comfortable. He's thrown 3 passes. Unfortunately, 2 of them have been interceptions. And at this point, he might have a little bit of a confidence issue, and you really got to boost him up. You got to give him a run play, run option, an RPO of some sort, and give him an opportunity to really get that momentum started back up.
And speaking of momentum start back up, the Ackright Foundation was founded by Kenneth Acker, the former Grant alum and athlete and NFL player for the San Francisco Giants, along with the Kansas City Chiefs. So thank you to Kenneth Acker and his support of Grant Athletics. As the Titans go back to their man Tinseth, and he picks up about 3 yards. In addition to Kenneth Acker has brought his generosity to Friends of Grant Football, is a gold-level sponsor helping our players with the important equipment that they need to be safe and effective. The Ackright Foundation also sponsored our first Grant-hosted 7-on-7 tournament this year. Kenneth Acker and the Ackright Foundation has been an incredible example to our players and what can be accomplished through hard work in sports and education. So thank you to Kenneth Acker here. As the Titans on the far side here, Jacob Tinseth will get this handoff again, and he'll pick up about 3 yards. So,
well, it almost looks like they're setting themselves up here for a pass play over the top. I know that Grant here is really licking their chops. They really would love that. I know to get an interception right back on their side of things. And we'll see kind of what they have in store here for us next here. West Salem about to hike the ball again.
So the Titans knocking on the door once again. At 6:50 remains here in the first quarter. As Jackson Lowry will give it to his running back, Nathan Garcia, who just checked into the game. And he picks up a couple yards there to make it a 4th down and 6. So the first 4th down of the game for head coach Sean Stanley. And Mitch, it looks as though that the Titans are not going to take their foot off the gas here, and they want to either get that first down or potentially put 6 on the board.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like they were setting themselves up there with that last play call. There's about 3 runs in a row, just right up the middle there.
So Lowry in the gun, and he'll drop back Ball to the end zone, and this one is incomplete. So a change of possession here and a turnover on down. So after the unfortunate interception there by Logan Goings, Grant holds, and they will take the ball at their own 12-yard line. As we'll take a quick timeout, as this one brought to you in part by Friends of Medford.
Hello, I'm Officer Mike Jackson, Medford Police Department School Resource Officer for South Medford High School, as well as 5 elementary schools nearby. With 5 resource officers working in partnership with Medford schools, safety is a top priority and essential to promoting a positive learning environment. Hello, I'm
Welcome back to West Salem as the Generals doing a nice job holding the Titans on the first down. We'll take one more timeout. When we come back, John Beck will have the ball at his team's own 12. You're watching live coverage of Grant football powered by Table Rock Sports.
Hello, I'm Officer Mike Jackson, Medford Police Department School Resource Officer for South Medford High School, as well as 5 elementary schools nearby. With 5 resource officers working in partnership with Medford schools, safety is a top priority and essential to promoting a positive learning environment. SROs receive specialized training in how to communicate with students in a school setting and also teach classes to students, staff, and parents on important safety issues. I'm School Resource Officer Mike Jackson, working to ensure the safety of our students.
The Associates for Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery provide professional, personal, and compassionate care for their patients. Their offices in Medford, Grants Pass, and Klamath Falls.
Welcome back to Salem, Oregon on the campus of West Salem High School. As Logan Goings trying to get something going here for the Generals, as it's been, Mitch, it's been pretty much all the Titans here thus far here here in the second quarter here. So certainly you got to tip your hat to the Titans and how well that they've been playing. So as Goings now stands at about his own 5-yard line.
The defense does look a little lost out there. Let's see if they can settle in.
Goings rolls out to the near side pressure, and he eludes the sack. And the official says that he got rid of that one just in time to avoid the sack. But that pressure from the backside continues to push out the Grant Generals here. And so now they will be pushed back all the way to their own goal line. So, Mitch, I misspoke there. He was taken down there short of the goal line.
It looked like the referee was a little confused even. We had one referee signify an incomplete pass, and the other one was saying he was down. It looked like the white hat was saying he was down, though.
As the Generals deep in their own territory, and this time we'll give it to his man in the backfield there, and that will bring up a punting situation here. So the
can't get comfortable. You cannot get comfortable when your back is against the wall right here where the football is located. On your only on the 6-yard line, I believe, here on Grant's 6-yard line. Excuse me, on the 3-yard line.
So the Generals deep in their own territory as this punt will go over the head of Max Von Arx, and that will be a safety.
Should I get in my car and leave now, Brian, or what? Did I jinx that or what?
Boy.
Jeez.
Boy.
Let's jump in the rig and get out of here, Lordy.
That was not the ideal punt snap there for the Generals, and just like that, I want to say this in the kindest of ways, but certainly not the most clear start for the Generals. It's been a bit blurry,
a little
murky for them here. So
yeah, they got to get something going. They really need to get some momentum going. They've got to figure out a sequence of plays. You got to go back to the basics here. You got to run an RPO. I know that what they do well is run with Logan, so they've got to figure out a way to get his legs going. And that's really how you're going to get back into this ball game. It's first quarter. It's 9-0. The West Salem Titans are ahead 9-0. It's not that big of a deficit. You're going to be able to get back in this ball game. One score, one big play. Someone just needs to step up. They have to figure out a way to get the sequence going. They've got to get Logan going, and that's really no pun intended there. But they really have to figure out a way to get his legs moving, get a first down, get a second first down, and then really figure out where you're at.
So after the punt over the head of Von Arx, that'll make it a 9-0 football game. And with that rule, the Grant Generals have to kick this one off deep in their own territory. So now the Titans have excellent field position.
Really adds a little insult to injury there. You hike it over your head, give up the safety, and then you have to really kick that deep into your own section, giving the West Salem Titans great field position just below their own 40-yard line. Looks like they're going to get started on the 39. Here is West Salem is about to take over. Jackson ready for the snap. He's clapping his hands ready. It looks like it is a lateral. Tinseth again will be stopped with no gain, bringing up second down. They're going to be on the hash closest to us here.
So after the nice run there by,
I believe that was Tinseth with the catch in a run. Not much of a gain. Looks like it was actually a loss of a yard. A little more confusion. They're changing the play at the line.
So now inside, they'll give it off to Jacob Tinseth, and he will pick up a couple yards, maybe gets back to the initial line of scrimmage as the clock ticks down to 3:21 here as the Titans out to an early lead, 9-0, as they were able to put 2 on the board after the unfortunate snap over the punter's head, and the ball went out of the back of the end zone. And that's how we're able to have 9 points here for the Titans. So the Generals, unfortunately, have not really had the start that they were looking for as they're looking at their first road contest here, and they're up against the ropes here as the young man, Jackson Lowry, will drop back, and this one will be incomplete as he was looking for his man, Kyle Mitsisau, and that'll bring up another 4th down here. So the Grant Generals settling down here, and that'll bring up the punt squad for the Titans.
Just a great defensive stop there by the Grant Generals. They really decided they wanted to get that ball back and give their guys an opportunity to make some plays here on the offensive side of the ball. Let's see if they do punt it to him. This will be interesting to see if they punt it to him. They've been avoiding him on the kickoff, so let's see if they do decide to punt to him. I believe that's Jay Sean in the backfield there.
That is Jay Sean, and he signals the fair catch, and that's where the Generals will take over, as they'll take over at their own 27-yard line. We'll take a quick timeout, as this timeout's brought to you in part by On Point Community Credit Union.
I was talking to Bill.
Yeah?
Bill and Sherry got a guy.
They do? How did they get a guy?
Everything happened online, including financing. And their guy even delivered their new car to their home.
Maybe we should get a guy.
I thought you might say that. Honey, meet Kyle.
So the Generals find themselves down 9-0 as Goings will give it to his speedster, Tymon Davis, and he will scamper for a nice first down there. So get the ball in the hands of Tymon Davis, and good things happen, Mitch.
Boy, I tell you what, just a dynamic player there, playing both wide receiver and defensive back. They don't go to his side of the field very often when he's on the defensive side of the ball, and they try to give him the ball as much as possible when they're on the offensive side of the ball. As Tymon Davis, just a very dynamic player as they get ready to get going on first down. And looks like we got more penalty flags on this play on the field. We have a false start on the offense here on the Generals. It's going to take them back another 5 yards. We'll go ahead and start this over again. 1st and 15 for the Generals as they are bringing on looks like a single back set.
So Goings in the gun, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. He'll give it to his speedster up the left-hand side, Davis. Davis breaks 1 tackle, does a great job staying in bounds, and he will pick up the first down. So 2 nice runs there by Mr. Davis as the junior looking to add some accolades to his wall of fame here, as it's another first down. And head coach John Beck has now got his generals starting to play a little bit looser right now, Mitch.
Absolutely.
And you can certainly see it out there.
You know, slippery is all I got to say on that one there. He broke about 3 tackles, I think, on that last run for Timon Davis.
As Goings will give it off to his man, D.D. Phillips, and he will lose the couple yards there as the Titans once again doing a nice job swarming to the football.
It looks like they're playing with a little more urgency here. I wonder if that's something they discussed when they were on the sideline there with the offensive coordinator, head coach.
Has Davis with a nice acrobatic catch there, but he will be short of the first down marker here. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and a manageable 7, Mitch.
You know, manageable 7. You know, that's that goes a long ways when you say 3rd down and manageable 7. So let's see what kind of play they develop here. It does look like they're going with the single back as they've done here most of the game. And Logan is going to fake the run and pass.
He gets it to his man there, Quinn Gerald. As the young man, haven't said his name a whole lot this season, but boy, he came up with a big catch there as Quinn Gerald, the 6'1 senior, coming up with a big catch.
Not an easy one either. Boy, that run right through the middle, that's a dangerous zone to be going through there if you are a tall, lengthy guy like himself. Just a great play there by Gerald.
And give it up to his man there. Shows the flake going. He's going to keep it himself. And he will scamper all the way to the 20-yard line as he picks up another first down there. And so now the Generals all of a sudden, Mitch, are knocking on the door.
Quickly.
As they've done a nice job here responding after an unfortunate and not so much ideal first quarter as we hit the 17-second mark here in the first quarter. And Goings would like to get some points on the board here as he will send 2 receivers to the bottom. Tight end at the top, single at the And Goings is going to call a timeout, and we'll take the timeout with them. Generals knocking on the door here. You're watching live coverage of Grant football powered by Table Rock Sports. So at the end of the first quarter, the Titans of Black with a 9-0 lead here at home. But the Generals are now knocking on the door here as Goings gives it to his speedster, breaks 1 tackle, Jay Sean Pete, and is unable to break a 2nd tackle. And that'll bring up a 2nd down and 9. So, Mitch, after a not-so-ideal first quarter, now all of a sudden the Generals are starting to, as you said before, calm down a little bit here. Now they're starting to be able to move the football. This is what we're used to when it comes to Grant football.
Absolutely, absolutely. They do such a great job of moving the football down the field. It's been really interesting to see them kind of, for lack of better terms, fail to do that in the first quarter. So let's see what they have. Very smart play there by Logan to throw it away.
So Goings did not have a man there that he felt comfortable. Good defense there by the Titans, and so Logan Going does the smart thing and puts this one into the dirt. So Mitch Bukite to my right here, Brian Gregg here on the call, as this broadcast would not be possible without the friends of Grant football. And also would like to take this moment to recognize Bodhi Tree Clinic. Offers outstanding chiropractic care in Northeast Portland. Logan looking for his man down the left-hand side, and this one is caught. This one is caught by Luke Borchardt, and it is a touchdown for the Generals. So after the great throw and catch, Luke Borchardt has his 5th touchdown in the last 2 games, and the Generals are 1 point away from making this a 2-point contest. So great throw and catch there by Goings, and he found his man Luke on the left-hand side.
Man, great hands there by Luke. Just to go up there and get the football. That's the first thing they'll tell you right there as a receiver. Go up and get the football. Be the first guy to make contact with that football. Highest point. Go up there, climb the ladder, get the football, make the score, come down, keep possession. That's key. You got to keep possession.
And the Generals looking to make this 7. Looks good, and it is good. So Logan Going to Butchart connection continues. But this broadcast will continue here in 60 seconds as we'll take a quick timeout as you're watching live Grant coverage powered by Table Rock Sports.
Let's go! At US Cellular, we heard you. You want a wireless plan that works for you. That's why we're giving you unlimited data for just $30 on a network ranked #1 in network quality performance. All that and no hidden fees. That's the best value in wireless. That work for you? US Cellular. Choose fair.
For the best deals in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere, visit Siskiyou Cellular, your local US Cellular agent. 7 locations, including Central Point off Plaza Boulevard.
Doctors James Savage and Rajiv Rajagopal are happy to welcome Dr. Brian Clevenger to the Associates for Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery. Their offices in Medford, Grants Pass, and Klamath Falls practice a full scope of services, from corrective jaw surgery to wisdom teeth removal and much more. For more information or to schedule your complimentary dental implant consultation, call 541-779-3781.
Welcome back to West Salem High School as the Going Butchart connection continues as the Generals get 7 points on the board. And that was really a must-need touchdown there, Mitch, because as we talked about there in the first quarter, not the most iconic start to the game.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, you gotta understand where your position is in the game. You know, if they hit you in the mouth first, you really got to step back, strengthen that back up, and really hit them back, you know, and that's what they did. That whole drive, they went down there, they put the ball in the air, they put it on the ground, they had different plays. They really had some momentum going. You could really see it, and they were able to capitalize there with, as you mentioned, that Butchart to Going connection.
So the Generals would love to get a 3 and out here. As a swing pass to the far side, and he will find his man Brennick Beck as the young man has his first reception of the game to bring up a 2nd down and 7 here. So you can certainly see from our vantage point here, Mitch, that the Generals all of a sudden look a little bit more composed at this point, as opposed to those first quarters and those 6 or 7 penalties they started out with, Mitch.
Very composed. You know, and that's what it comes down to. You know, composure, as we spoke about that pregame. You know, always going back to those pregame words that we spoke about is composure. Keep your emotions intact, keep your composure.
So the first down is going to be picked up there by West Salem, and I've been extremely impressed with the offensive productivity of West Salem as they have played really an air-free football thus far. As Jackson looking for his receiver on the left-hand side, Marshall Bray, and that one will be incomplete. Good defense there by the Generals.
that's what's going to come down to. You know, the defense is really what's going to pick up the offense in this point here of the game. The offense they're not struggling. They're just failing to get the ball down the field as effective as they have here in the past few weeks. So let's see what they really have going here. I think the defense is going to have to pick it up here for the offense.
Second and a long 10. As Jackson will give it to his big man up the middle, Kyle Masiau, and he will pick up about 6. And that will bring up another third down and 6. $10:14 to go here as we're live at West Salem High School. Mitch Buchheit to my right, Brian Gregg here on the call. And I want to make sure I thank the camera operators doing all the great work here to bring you all the live action here, as this couldn't be possible without the friends of Grant football. As Jackson looking for his man near side, and this one will be incomplete as he was looking for Marshall Bray once again, but good coverage there by the Generals.
Well, there's that defense we were speaking about. You know, really got to poke their head up and really show up here. And that's just exactly what they did that last possession. Really just not a whole lot of good there coming off of the West Salem Titans offense. Better done here by the defense of the Grant Generals.
So the speedster, Jay-Sean Pete, stands at his own 25-yard line as the second punt of the game for the Titans. And this will take a Titan bounce, and the Generals will take over at their own 40-yard line. And friends of Grant football, I want to make sure that I recognize Squires Electric. Was founded in 1998. Through 20 years of dedication, Squires has provided excellent workmanship, extraordinary service, and have surrounded themselves with the best electricians in the industry. It's one of the company's core values, support the community, and they are proud to be able to enrich children's lives and help provide the tools needed to succeed. Squires Electric. So thank you to Squires Electric. As the Generals looking to get something going here as they pick up about 3 yards there. Mitch, I didn't get a chance to see who the ball carrier was.
Well, I believe that was no, I guess I missed it myself there. I was looking at the scoreboard trying to get some information down there. I wasn't watching the play exactly.
As the handoff will go to the man in the backfield. And that'll bring up a third and a very long 10s. So the two teams and two defenses throwing bows back and forth here as we hit the 8:40 mark here in the second quarter. As the Generals looking to go to 3-0 on the year, but right now they find themselves down 2. It's going. Rolls out to the far side.
Wow, what a play.
And this one will be incomplete, as that one was intended for Zahari. And after the great stick, Mitch.
Boy, what a great stick. That's a very fundamental tackle right there. You want to put your head right on the ball. Poked it loose a little bit. Was able to make the incompletion. I wasn't sure if they were going to rule that a completion fumble, but it does look like they went ahead and ruled that an incomplete pass.
So the Generals unable to convert the third down and 10, so another punting situation here for the Generals. Let's see if the snapper and the punter can be on the same page, as the last one did not fall on the positive side, as it was an unfortunate safety, and that's how we have 9 points there for the Titans, as the Generals doing a nice job there holding their water. And the fall starts, as the offsides on the Titans, and so that'll bring it at 4th down and 6 here.
first penalty of the second quarter.
Much better snap this time. Good punt. And this one will take a Generals bounce, and it will go out of bounds at about the 17-yard line, and that's where the Titans will take over. 9-7 here. Generals find themselves down 2. You're watching live coverage of Grant football powered by Table Rock Sports. Welcome back to West Salem High School as the Grant Generals trying to go to 3-0 on the year, but unfortunately right now they find themselves down 2 after the nice defensive stand there by the Titans, and the Generals were forced to punt as Jackson will send 2 to the top, 1 at the bottom, gives it to his man inside. And this time it was the big guy, Caden Reedhead, picking up about a couple yards for another first down here for the Titans.
Yep, the Generals sticking with the 4-3 defense here. It'll be interesting to see exactly if they decide to stick with that. It's a lot of man-on-man coverage there on the outside, with West Salem not completing much for downfield passes thus far. We'll see what they decide to do here. They may go with more of a 3-4 front later on if they do decide to be able to put a little more pressure on the backfield to maybe get a turnover.
Lowry looking for his man. It's got him open on the left side, and he's unable to haul that one in as Nick Passley was the intended receiver, but he was unfortunately unable to haul that one in, as that'll bring a second down and 10 as we have a wounded Titan on the field. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, the Titans will have it 2nd and 5 on their own 30.
At US Cellular, we heard you. You want a wireless plan that works for you. That's why we're giving you unlimited data for just $30 on a network ranked #1 in network quality performance. All that and no hidden fees. That's the best value in wireless. That work for you? US Cellular. Choose fair.
For the best deals in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere, visit Siskiyou Cellular, your local US Cellular agent. 7 locations, including
3rd down 5, Titans looking to extend their lead as they find themselves on top by 2. As Mr. Lowry will send his 2 receivers to the bottom. As Mitch alluded to, possibly a change of defense here, but they will stay with that 4-3 as Lowry gives it off to his big man up the middle, Josiah Martin, and the senior will pick up about 4. And so another 3rd down situation here for the Generals. the Generals can capitalize. They're looking at some excellent field position thus far, Mitch.
Yeah, I wonder if Jacob Tinseth, if he may be watching more plays recently here. I'm not sure if he's dealing with an ailment or possibly just lack of play there. I'm not exactly sure. It just seems like they've had Josiah Martin there in the backfield.
Has Lowry rolling out to the near side, looking for his man Zariah Powell, but the great coverage there by Tamon Davis, and so that'll bring up another 4th down here. So after the excellent stand there by the Generals now have an opportunity to have great field position as they are looking at a 6:19 there in the second period. So after it was all Titans in the first quarter, it is definitely evened out a little bit there. It was almost a heavyweight bout there, Mitch, that one side of the Black Trunks came out swinging, and now all of a sudden we're in about the 5th round here, and both teams are getting their punches in.
Absolutely.
So that ball will go out of bounds at the Generals 40, and that's where they will take over. And fans, I want to take an opportunity to recognize another great sponsor here to make these broadcasts possible. Parkside Orthodontics is the private practice of Dr. Rebecca Cooperstein, a board-certified orthodontist in Portland, Oregon, and a neighborhood favorite for braces. Dr. Cooperstein is committed to providing the highest quality of orthodontic treatment for all ages in caring, comfortable environment. Parkside Orthodontics is state-of-the-art digital office with advanced technology to provide superior result. Parkside Orthodontics. Visit them today.
D.D. Phillips there with the carry. Looks like he just got back to the line of scrimmage as there's no gain on the play, bringing up 2nd and 10. Looks like D.D. still in the backfield with Logan.
So going, stand on his own 40. Give it to his speedster, trying to get to the outside. He's got a little running room. As D.D. once again is the man here, but unfortunately a piece of laundry is going to be sitting there in the back, Mitch, and we're going to have a holding indicated there by the Generals. So after a nice scamper there for D.D., it's going to be unfortunate. It's going to be brought back as the official found the big fellas up front using a little too many hands, Mitch.
Yep, they really have to figure it out because I believe at this point I've counted 10 penalties. So they've got to figure it out. I don't know what the yardage accumulation is there, but they have 10 penalties varying from false starts, offsides, everything. They've got to figure out. They've got to get disciplined. You're not going to win a ball game on the road this early in the year making this many mistakes.
Going's going to send Davis in motion, give it off to Dede. Dede up the middle, great scamper there, and he will pick up about 6. And so now it'll bring up a very long 3rd down and about 17, Mitch. How's your playbook on a 3rd down and 17? What's your playbook look like there?
You just try to get your offense off the field, no injuries at this point. You throw a little screen pass, hopefully somebody gets loose, and you can get yourself a little better field position for your defense. Let's see what they have to do here. I want to know if it looks like they do have some one-on-one up top.
Going, drop back, looking for that one-on-one matchup. And this ball will be incomplete as he was looking for his main man, Luke Borchardt. And that'll bring up another 4th down here for the Generals. So they were unable to capitalize offensively. And so now the 3rd punt of the game here for the Generals, Mitch.
Really, that play call was pretty much exactly what we were thinking. It's either going to be a screen play, come back, try to get loose, get the ball coming back from one of your dynamic players, get it into their hands, see if you can get loose, maybe pick up 10, maybe get a 1st down. You never know. You got to give yourself a chance, though. It looks like that's what they were trying to do.
So 4:40 to go here in the second. This time another good snap and good punt. And the fair catch will be signaled by the tall, lanky guy, Nick Pasley, and he will give that one back to the official, and they'll take over at their own 33-yard line, and that's where the Titans will take over.
Now they're flagged down.
So the penalties have seemed to be the troubled spot, and maybe they didn't get enough food in their bellies here, and so the brain isn't working. However, if you don't have enough food in your stomach, visit Blind Onion Pizza and Pub. Pizza and Pub was established in 1995. Blind Onion is a neighborhood favorite pizza joint close to Grant and offering great honest pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and craft beers. The Blind Onion offers a casual, nostalgic fun and atmosphere, and it has a strong focus on delicious pizza making, a popular hangout that fits perfectly in the community. Check out the delicious house special pizzas and oven-baked sandwiches, and don't forget about the appetizers and salads with bargain prices on special pizza creation. The Blind Onion, located at 3345 Northeast Broadway Street in Portland. Blind Onion, visit them today. So after another penalty flag there, the Titans looking to add to their lead here as they give it off once again to Jacob Tinseth.
Yeah, Tinseth really having a great game. Wasn't sure where he was at there for a few series. I know that they, I believe they were splitting time there with Tinseth and Martin. So we'll see what they decide to do here in the future as far as this series along with future series, and especially the second half, as they do play with the lead here 9-7 West Salem.
So as Jackson Lowry drops back, finds a open man there. Good route there by Zariah Powell, and he picks up another first down. Great route there by Powell.
You know, just a real simple post pattern right there, just a 5-yard in. Linebacker should have been there, wasn't, but the Grant Generals are playing better defense now than the first quarter, even really the first part of the second quarter. The defense for the Grant Generals do need to decide if they are going to continue with the 3-4 or the 4-3. It seems like they're jumping back and forth. I'm not sure exactly what defensive coordinator decides here, if he's maybe just kind of playing his cards just to kind of see that chess game in action here. We'll see what he has to move forward with.
As the swing pass to the far side will go to Tinseth, and he will get to the first down marker, just short of the first down marker. Next Friday night, fans, PIL action will start as the Grant Generals welcome in the Rough Riders of Roosevelt, and we'll catch all the action right here. 6:45 pregame show will go live at 6:30 as the Rough Riders will head on in to league play to take on the Generals.
Going to be a fun matchup there, huh, Brian?
That's two good teams right there. That's two PIL teams. Following that, another non-league game. They'll take on Barlow, and then they'll take on Jefferson, who had a huge win to start the year going on the road, beating Southridge.
Gosh, what a big win there, huh?
But a big win is what the Generals are looking for here as Dede picks up the low punt, and he's got some running room. He's down the right side. He's got blockers to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Dede. And after the ill-advised punt there, Dede, with a bit of a risk, scampers down the right-hand side, and the Generals have their first lead of the game.
What a fantastic run there by Dede after catching the low punt. I'm not exactly sure of what he was trying to accomplish there as the punter with the low is almost a rugby style kick there, right to Dede, caught it almost on the dead sprint, and makes his way to does a turnaround, makes his way to the far sideline, and is able to make the play go down there. The sideline, as you can see, is very high. Touchdown is the call, and your Generals do take the lead now, 13-9, with an extra point attempt possibly coming up next.
So after the, as you mentioned before, Mitch, the rugby-style punt there, Dede with a, safe to say, heads-up play. I'm sure if I'm head coach John Beck, I'm saying, get away, get away, get away. But Dede had other things in mind there, and he scampers all the way down the right-hand side and takes that one 60 yards to the house. And now the Generals are looking to make this a 15-9 contest as the
Swinging gate.
Swinging gate here. John Beck reaching into the pockets of some Chip Kelly here, but now he'll bring it back to a more organized style. And they will now attempt the PAT. So John Beck getting it done, not only on the offensive end, but also on the special teams end as well. And it was just enough as Dede takes that one himself and scampers 62 yards for the second touchdown of the game. Boy, that sure gets you going right there. Boy, you thought for a second there that Dede was going to be taken down, but boy, he had other things in mind, and he was off to the races.
Yeah, he only saw smoke coming from his feet after that one there. He is moving. That guy can really get it going. It's just a little longer kick.
And just not enough, and that will be no good. And so the Generals will leave the score at 13-9 after the punt return by the main man, Dede, as he goes 63 yards, and the Generals have their first lead of the game. Don't go anywhere, as we're going to come back, as the Generals are going to kick off to the Titans with a 13-9 lead. You're watching live coverage of Grant football, powered by Table Rock Sports.
Let's go! At US Cellular, we heard you. You want a wireless plan that works for you. That's why we're giving you unlimited data for just $30 on a network ranked #1 in network quality performance. All that and no hidden fees. That's the best value in wireless. That work for you? US Cellular. Choose fair.
For the best deals in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere, visit Siskiyou Cellular, your local US Cellular agent. 7 locations, including Central Point off Plaza Boulevard.
Doctors James Savage and Rajiv Rajagopal are happy to welcome Dr. Brian Clevenger to the Associates for Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery. Their offices in Medford, Grants Pass, and Klamath Falls practice a full scope of services, from corrective jaw surgery to wisdom teeth removal and much more. For more information or to schedule your complimentary dental implant consultation, call 541-779-3781.
Dede Phillips is the man responsible for the 62-yard punt return after you thought for a moment he was going to run the opposite direction, but he changed field there, headed all the way towards the Grant sideline. He scampered up the right-hand side, Mitch, and he took it all the way in for the score to make it a 13-9 contest. And at break there, we were talking about, boy, I thought he was going to be swarmed, but he had a great heads-up play there, and he went the length of the field and put 6 points on the board. For
Showing some serious athleticism right there is what Dede was doing, putting it on display for everybody. Just a great route, really. I mean, he just couldn't be tackled. That's all it came down to. If you could do a tracker on him, he'd be drawing his name in cursive, I think, at that point.
Kind of looks like you out there.
Yeah.
Takes you all the way back there. Takes you all the way back there. So Mr. Lowry will give it off to his big running back, Jacob Tinseth, the 5'9 senior. Will pick up about 3 yards there. So after pretty much a flawless first quarter for the Titans and a not-so-ideal first quarter for the Generals have calmed down here, and all of a sudden they're moving the football. But as I mentioned, not only are they able to get it done on the offensive end, but also in the 3 phases of football in special teams, as Dede Phillips scampers on the right-hand side to make it a 13-9 score with 2:27 to go here. And Mitch, how big is it when a team finds themselves just not playing the type of football that they're used to playing, but then you get that big punt return, that big kickoff return? What does that do to the mojo, or the moxie, as the young kids like to say, when you're able to do something like that?
Oh, gosh, it gets the sideline so juiced. You know, you go over there, your chest bumping, your shoulder tapping, everybody's jumping up, everybody's having a good time. And what it does is it gives you that moxie, as you speak of there, and it gives you that extra pep in your step, which makes you that much quicker to the ball on the defensive side of things. You know, gives you that juice, gives you that pump, and it really it sets the tone. It really does.
And unfortunately, a little bit too much moxie there as the false start there by the Generals. And that's another penalty there. I believe it's the 12th penalty of the game for the Generals. And that'll be an automatic first down for the Titans as they once again give it off to Tinseth up the middle, and he'll pick up about 3 yards as Jamison Price comes up from his free safety position to make the stick there. But, Mitch, great observation when it comes to that moxie, that excitement that, okay, guys, we're fine. We're in it. Right before you head into halftime, as we got a $1:29 left here.
Just absolutely a huge score. Big plays, man. That gets everybody going.
Big players make
big plays.
Big plays.
Absolutely.
So incomplete pass there for Mr. Lowry. And so that'll bring up another 3rd down and 7 here. So if the Generals are able to hold the Titans here to a punting situation, the Generals will now have a great opportunity to have excellent field position as they have 2 timeouts remaining. And I would certainly envision head coach John Beck saying, if we can get this football back, we have an opportunity to try to put this thing some points on the board, Mitch.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to do. I know they've been calling I know Grant has got some timeouts left here, but West Salem should be doing a better job at trying to chew up some of that clock there, not to give anybody – you don't want to give Dede or what I like to call him Speedy Dede any momentum there getting on their side of the ball, because he's going to be looking to make another big play here, and he's going back to catch the football.
Well, and that was
that's Timon. Excuse me. Timon Davis.
Timon Davis, and that was not the most ideal situation there, as it really gave him another timeout there because he went out of bounds, Mitch. And so you really can chalk that up to a 3rd timeout. If not, that clock would continue to run. So as Timon Davis stands at his own 35, and he will signal a fair catch, and that's where the Generals will take over with 1:11 remaining here. And let's see if John Beck is going to run this football, or he's looking to potentially put the football in the air here. We'll find out here momentarily. But as the Generals find themselves with a 13-9 lead.
Be interesting to see what John decides to do here. He may just do a couple of quarterback sneaks and just try to get to the locker room. A couple timeouts, though, available for these guys. So I know the Grant Generals, they're going to be trying to score. I know they're very aggressive, and here comes the throw.
As Logan was looking for his man on the left-hand side there, as Darius Pendergrass was the intended receiver there, but Darius is unable to hold on to that one, so that'll stop the clock with the incomplete. As we got 1:08 here remaining here in the 2nd period.
Showing a lot of confidence by throwing that football right there.
As Goings will keep this one himself. Scampers picks up the 1st down. Nice run there. And he picks up about 15 yards, and that'll be enough for another General 1st down. 1:01 remaining. And John Beck is saying, guys, let's drive a NASCAR. Let's get this thing going.
Let's get it going.
Let's drive this thing here. 1 at the top, 3 at the bottom. Goings in the gun. And he will give it off to his man, Jay Sean Pede, and he will lose about a yard. As the tackle made there by Isaac Shocker. As that clock will continue to run. Goings gives it to Jay Sean. Jay Sean up the right-hand side, and we'll get back to the initial line of scrimmage. And head coach John Beck will just let that clock run. And I potentially anticipate that might be the last play of the 1st half, and it will be. So after the Generals came out in a not-so-ideal situation, the Titans took advantage of it, but the Generals calmed down, and they were able to capitalize on an offensive touchdown there as Goings found Bouchard down the left-hand side, and then Speedy Dede with the 60-yard punt return takes it to the house, and that's where we have it here at halftime, 13-9. As both teams head for the locker room. We'll take a quick timeout, but when we come back, Mitch and I will provide our 1st half thoughts as well as what we can look forward here in the 2nd half. You're watching live coverage of Grant football powered by Table Rock Sports.
This production of Grant High School football is brought to you by Grant Boosters. Grant Boosters raises money for Grant High School's many diverse clubs and athletic teams. Grant's clubs and teams keep our kids inspired, active, and connected. The success of Grant's clubs and teams would not be possible without the support of parents, friends, and family like you. Please give what you can to help us reach our fundraising goal for this year. You can do so directly online at grantgives.com. Friends of Grant Football is a non-profit organization that exists to build on Grant's strong football tradition, providing long-term viability and to provide the resources required to support the Grant football community, past, present, and future. Friends of Grant Football would like to thank our 2019 Grant Football corporate and individual supporters and sponsors in the theme of our mission. Friends of Grant Football strives to enrich the lives of players, students, alumni, and administration by providing a program that sustains generation after generation in the pursuit of academic and athletic excellence. Our values are aligned with a tradition that extends beyond many generations of alumni who have passed through the hallways, representing PIL leadership in a challenging and supportive athletic environment. The foundation of the Generals is built on integrity, accountability, inclusion, and a proud competitive spirit. Please visit friendsofgrantfootball.com to join our efforts and participate within our Grant football community.
Let's go! At US Cellular, we heard you. You want a wireless plan that works for you. That's why we're giving you unlimited data for just $30 on a network ranked #1 in network quality performance. All that and no hidden fees. That's the best value in wireless. That work for you? US Cellular. Choose fair.
For the best deals in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere, visit Siskiyou Cellular, your local U.S. Cellular agent. 7 locations, including Central Point off Plaza Boulevard.
Doctors James Savage and Rajiv Rajagopal are happy to welcome Dr. Brian Clevenger to the Associates for Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery. Their offices in Medford, Grants Pass, and Klamath Falls practice a full scope of services, from corrective jaw surgery to wisdom teeth removal and much more. For more information or to schedule your complimentary dental implant consultation, call 541-779-3781.
For several weeks, the Southern Oregon Sports Commission has shown you examples of good sportsmanship and bad sportsmanship. Here's why. 75% of youth athletes quit sports by the age of 13 because they're not having fun. 75% of rookie referees also quit each year. Why? Well, it's because of the way they're treated by coaches and parents. We can do better. We must do better. Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
I'm Pat Cox with Sherm's Food Stores. The employees of Sherm's are proud to be part of your community.
We have thousands of customers in our stores every day, and our checkers know a lot of them on a first-name basis. They tend to enjoy what they do, and they love it, so it reflects in how they treat the customer.
If you live anywhere in Southern Oregon, there's a Sherm's store near you. We hope to see you soon.
If you shop with us, you will save money.
I was talking to Bill.
Yeah?
Bill and Sherry got a guy.
They do? How did they get a guy?
Everything happened online, including financing. And their guy even delivered their new car to their home.
Maybe we should get a guy.
I thought you might say that. Honey, meet Kyle.
Find your guy during the Ram Power Days going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford and on lithiasuperstore.com. Not a dealership, a partnership.
This year, don't just replace your windows, renew them with beautiful and energy-efficient windows from Bill's Glass. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home or auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 40 years. Bill's Glass in Ashland and Medford, and now Bill's Glass in Grants Pass.
Welcome back to West Salem High School. Brian Gregg here, 13-9. As your Generals find themselves on top by 4 as both teams head to the dressing room here as the marching band of West Salem entertains our fan faithful with the flag girls and the orchestration of a excellent performance here, as I was talking about in the pregame show, that the school has done a phenomenal job investing in the athletic department as well as the band and the theater and all of the different options here for these young men and women to stay involved here and to have an opportunity to showcase their talents in front of their family and friends. But showcasing is one thing that the Generals did there in the second quarter after a not so ideal first quarter, after they found themselves in a tough spot as Logan Going had his first of 2 interceptions in the first quarter. And the Titans took full advantage of it as they got on the board first, as Jacob Tinseth was the man responsible for adding 6 points to the board for the Titans. And then a few possessions later, the Generals found themselves once again deep in their own territory. And an ill-advised snap went over to the head of the punter and went over the head of Max von Arx. And unfortunately, it only means one thing, and that's add 2 points to the young men in the black and green. And that's how we had a 9-0 ball game. But in the second period, the Generals calmed down a bit as Logan Goings found Luke Bouchard for his first touchdown of the game, his 5th in the last 2 games. And then with about 4.5 minutes to go in the second, the Generals forced the Titans to punt. And Speedy Dede, as Mitch likes to refer to him as, took the punt 62 yards, scampered down the right-hand side. And that's the 6th point of the game, the 13th point of the game, after the punt return there by Dede. And that's how we find ourselves with a 13-9 score. The Generals, unfortunately, have been not as disciplined as head coach John Beck generally likes his squad to be, as the Generals found themselves with 12 penalties there in the first half, as the Titans did a nice job being disciplined, as they only found themselves with 2 penalties in the first half. So as the marching band of the West Salem Titans continues to entertain family and friends, as we have a great crowd here, as the West Salem faithful trying to get themselves to 2-1, but the Generals are 24 minutes away from going 3-0 on the year before they welcome the Rough Riders of Roosevelt back onto their home field at the Marshall campus. We had about 7:20 here at halftime. We'll take another couple timeouts here, but when we come back, Mitch will rejoin us here as he will provide his thoughts and his analysis, as we have 2 good football teams going head-to-head. You're watching the Grant Generals in partnership with the Friends of Grant Football, powered by Table Rock Sports.
This production of Grant High School football is brought to you by Grant Boosters. Grant Boosters raises money for Grant High School's many diverse clubs and athletic teams. Grant's clubs and teams keep our kids inspired, active, and connected. The success of Grant's clubs and teams would not be possible without the support of parents, friends, and family like you. Please give what you can to help us reach our fundraising goal for this year. You can do so directly online at grantgives.com. Friends of Grant Football is a non-profit organization that exists to build on Grant's strong football tradition, providing long-term viability and to provide the resources required to support the Grant football community, past, present, and future. Friends of Grant Football would like to thank our 2019 Grant Football corporate and individual supporters and sponsors in the theme of our mission. Friends of Grant Football strives to enrich the lives of players, students, alumni, and administration by providing a program that sustains generation after generation in the pursuit of academic and athletic excellence. Our values are aligned with a tradition that extends beyond many generations of alumni who have passed through the hallways, representing PIL leadership in a challenging and supportive athletic environment. The foundation of the Generals is built on integrity, accountability, inclusion, and a proud competitive spirit. Please visit friendsofgrantfootball.com to join our efforts and participate within our Grant football community.
Welcome back to West Salem High School. Brian Gregg here on the call. As we've got ourselves a good one down here in the state's capital as the Generals make their way back out onto the field here as Logan Goings is warming up just a bit here, but you may recognize a different name. In addition to Logan Goings, Tammy Going of Winmer Realtors is a parent of one of our athletes and a sponsor that has been serving Northeast Portland in real estate for years. She's an advocate for our students and student athletes and generously gives her time and energy for those in need. Friends of Grant Football is grateful for community members that value the experience of sports and education in the high school process. If you're in need of a real estate agent, you would be lucky to have Tammy Going represent you through Winmer Realtor. So thank you to Tammy Going and all the wonderful sponsors who make this opportunity possible to not only bring you the live action here, but the wonderful uniforms and the refurbish of the helmet and shoulder pads. As if you don't know, it's a very expensive sport to play, and without the support of Grant Football and the wonderful contributions to the program, it would not be possible. So as the Generals find themselves on top by 4 at halftime, the Generals need to minimize their penalties here in the second half, as 13 of them accounted for in the first half. So we'll take another timeout as the Generals make their way back onto the field. We've got about 4 minutes, so we'll kick this one off. You're watching live coverage of Grant Football, powered by Tabor Rock Sports.
I was talking to Bill.
Yeah?
Bill and Sherry got a guy.
They do? How did they get a guy?
Everything happened online, including financing. And their guy even delivered their new car to their home.
Maybe we should get a guy.
I thought you might say that. Honey, meet Kyle.
Find your guy during the Ram Power Days going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford and on lithiasuperstore.com. Not a dealership, a partnership.
This year, don't just replace your windows, renew them with beautiful and energy-efficient windows from Bill's Glass. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home or auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 40 years. Bill's Glass in Ashland and Medford, and now Bill's Glass in Grants Pass.
Hello, I'm Officer Mike Jackson, Medford Police Department School Resource Officer for South Medford High School, as well as 5 elementary schools nearby. With 5 resource officers working in partnership with Medford schools, safety is a top priority and essential to promoting a positive learning environment. SROs receive specialized training in how to communicate with students in a school setting and also teach classes to students, staff, and parents on important safety issues. I'm School Resource Officer Mike Jackson, working to ensure the safety of our students.
The Associates for Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery provide professional, personal, and compassionate care for their patients. Their offices in Medford, Grants Pass, and Klamath Falls practice the full scope of services, from corrective jaw surgery to wisdom teeth removal and much more. For more information or to schedule your complimentary dental implant consultation, call 541-779-3781.
I'm Pat Cox with Sherm's Food Stores. The employees of Sherm's are proud to be part of your community.
We have thousands of customers in our stores every day, and our checkers know a lot of them on a first name basis. They tend to enjoy what they do and they love it, so it reflects on how they treat the customer.
If you live anywhere in Southern Oregon, there's a Sherm's store near you. We hope to see you soon.
If you shop with us, you will save money.
Welcome back to the broadcast here. Brian Gregg here on the call. Mitch Buchheit joining me here. And I got to take a quick moment to thank the wonderful camera operators that make this broadcast possible as the Grant Generals find themselves with a bit of a lead, 13-9. But as we had mentioned here, when it comes to making these broadcasts possible, another wonderful supporter of Grant football, Moon and Sixpence. Mike and Mary Marshall are parents of one of Grant's top senior players and proud owners of the Moon and Sixpence. They generously offer up their establishment every year to help Friends of Grant football fundraise, provide team dinners, and host coaches meetings. The Grant community is very lucky to have this area favorite that supports the neighborhood, players, and families. Moon and Sixpence is a charming classic English pub offering cask-conditioned ales with a dart room, beer garden, and live music, and a great back patio. Then in Moon, Sixpence is located at 2014 Northeast 42nd Avenue in Portland. So thank you to Mike and Mary Marshall for their wonderful support of Grant football, and to all of our sponsors as well to make this possible. We got about 90 seconds here until we kick this one off here in the second half. As Mitch Buchheit and myself, we're bringing all the action as the Generals are 24 minutes away to going 3-0 on the year. You're watching live coverage of Grant football, powered by Tabor Rock Sports.
All right, this is Adam. Take 2. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
What is a role model? A person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. What is sportsmanship? Fair and generous behavior or treatment of others, especially in a sports contest. This new school year, we want children to enjoy their experience in organized athletics. Let's pledge to make lifelong positive memories for our youth and know your role.
Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.com.
Welcome back to the state's capital here in beautiful Salem, Oregon, as the Grant Generals have their first road game of the year. Their first 2 have been at the Marshall campus, but now they've got to jump on the old yellow bus, get comfortable as they make the 2-hour trek south. And I came down from Portland as well, Mitch, and it took me about 2 hours and 22 minutes to get from Beaverton to Salem. Not the most ideal drive, but when you get to come here and you get to see these young men out here working as hard as they do, it makes it all the better.
Oh, well worth it. Absolutely. Yeah, a little bit of a commute for myself there. I was just coming from Wilsonville, so not too bad. But
so the Titans will receive this one as another penalty flag will end up on that iconic black turf, as Mitch talked about in the pregame show. It's the only black turf in the country, and it's right here in West Salem. So a pretty special thing here to have something so unique. There's not too many other unique fields. I mean, there's the Smurf turf at Boise State. There's the red turf up at Eastern Washington. Outside of that, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Mitch. Can you think of any other unique turfs other than the green?
Well, as you mentioned, the green, we had the black, the red, but I got a secondary red.
Okay, go.
The Richmond
Spider.
Spiders.
God,
got a
great drop.
red turf. Absolutely.
So the Richmond Spiders. That's a great play there.
Yeah.
Well done, Mitch. So the Titans, looks like that penalty, unfortunately, will cause them to have to back this one up, as Mr. Lowry will hand it off to his man up the middle, Mr. Tenseth, and he will get back to the initial line of scrimmage. So the Generals continuing to play that 4-3 defense, but Mitch, you've talked about a couple times here that 3-4 might be a different wrinkle, and they've kind of bounced back and forth, but they seem to come out here in the second half in that 4-3.
Yeah, they've actually had very good success here against the run with the 4-3 formation there. We'll have to see what they decide to do. It looks like they're throwing.
Jackson looking for his man on the right-hand side, and that one will be incomplete as he was looking for Zariah Powell, who's kind of been his go-to thus far here in this contest. But there's one man sitting out there, the man that you absolutely love, Speedy Dede, as you like to call him, out there on the far side playing that island corner position.
Gosh, and they really haven't shown his way here much this entire game, and look to continue that here in the second half.
So third down to long 10. So the Generals, if they can hold here, will have an opportunity to have excellent field position as they find themselves up 4. As Jackson will drop back, has to scramble, and he will be sacked in the backfield. Has the sack there by our man, Peter Zahari, the 6'1 senior, coming off his defensive end position, puts the pressure on Jackson, and he goes down at his own 5, and all of a sudden the Generals have an opportunity to return this punt with excellent field position.
Boy, is Peter a big guy or what, man? He playing tight end also on the offensive side of things. Senior, 6'1", $188, big boy.
So the Titans in their own territory, and this one is partially blocked and takes a Titans bounce. So after the Generals had a great opportunity to block the punt there, the Titans doing a great job getting that punt away, and that one takes what I would see safe to say a Titans bounce, and that one goes all the way down to the Generals' 45-yard lines, and that's where Logan will command the offense as he takes the ball for the first time here in the second half.
Well, I thought he had a leaf blower there for a second. That thing didn't stop. I don't know. That ball had a mind of its own there. Picked up some gruesome legs.
So as the Generals were close to causing havoc in the back of the end zone, they're unable to capitalize on the great field position. As Logan Goings, who has 1 touchdown in the game thus far, looking to march his Generals down the field here, to add 6 more points to the board, as he will give it off inside, and that will bring up a second down. Second down and 12 yards here as Goings will send 2 to the top, 1 at the bottom. Logan rolls out, pressure on the backside, and this one will be complete. After the great throw and catch there, as Quinn Gerald was the man responsible for that reception to bring up a third down and a manageable 4 here, Mitch.
You know, this is actually a really good spot for these guys here for the Generals. A 3rd and 4 right in the midfield. Could set up a great 4-down territory opportunity here.
So we'll find out if head coach John Beck is going to look at a 2-down territory here as Goings will send his man in motion. Davis give it off to his man inside, and he will be brought down at the initial line of scrimmage. So the fake to Davis did not rattle the Titans whatsoever, and they take advantage, and the Generals will now be forced to punt as the ball will stay at their own 48-yard line.
Coach John Beck really having a lot of confidence there in his running game with that call. They're 3rd and 4, and he puts it on the ground. Had a lot of confidence.
So the Generals once again have been successful in the punting end, except for a 1 ill-advised long snap that went over the head of the punter, which created a safety. This time it's a good snap, good punt, takes the Generals' bounce all the way to about the 20-yard line. And that's where the Titans will take over. So the Generals unable to capitalize on the good field position. The Titans will take over at their own 20-yard line. We'll take a quick timeout as this sponsorship is brought to you in part by Grant Football.
This production of Grant High School football is brought to you by Grant Boosters. Grant Boosters raises money for Grant High School's many diverse clubs and athletic teams. Grant's clubs and teams keep our kids inspired, active, and connected. The success of Grant's clubs and teams would not be possible without the support of parents, friends, and family like you. Please give what you can to help us reach our fundraising goal for this year. You can do so directly online at grantgives.com.
Welcome back to West Salem High School. As Mitch had talked about during the break there, what an entertaining football game here. You thought there in the first quarter that, boy, the Titans all of a sudden were the team coming out. They were the ones hitting first, and then the Grant Generals calmed down a little bit. Head coach John Beck got them, kind of got their composure, kind of got them under control. Now all of a sudden it's been a pretty evenly matched game really since the second quarter.
Yeah, just a coach's duel going on right here. Just really feeling each other out, just trying to see what the defense is going to give them and provide an opportunity to score some points.
So Grant looking to get themselves back to the playoffs. Unfortunately, last year they were eliminated by the Crusaders of Jesuit. And John Beck had the opportunity, Mitch, to call the 4A and 5A state championship game with head coach John Beck, and nothing pains him more than having to watch another team be out there. But I had the chance to talk with him before the season, and he said, we've got a lot of good athletes out there. We've got a lot of good players. I think we can be a really good football team. And they find themselves 2-0, but right now he finds himself in a bit of a dogfight. What are your thoughts about what the Generals need to do here to add some more points to the scoreboard?
Well, I do like what they have going on the offensive side of things here. Outside about the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game here on the offensive side of the ball for the Generals, everything else so far here has worked pretty well. They do need to continue throwing the ball. Throwing the ball is very important for this team, and that's based off of their extreme running game. They have a great running quarterback, and so they have to be able to keep the defense honest by being able to throw that football, put it in the air.
So the Generals not only getting it done on the offensive end as well as the special teams, but a huge sack there as they take down Jackson Lowry. And again, another punting situation here for the Titans, and an opportunity for excellent field position for the Generals. As the prior punt, the Generals were very close to causing havoc. Let's see if John Beck brings the heat again. And this time another good punt, and this one will go out of bounds and take an excellent Titans punt at their own 48-yard line. We'll take another timeout, but when we come back, Logan Goings and crew will take over at their 48. You're watching live coverage of Grant football in partnership with Friends of Grant, powered by Table Rock Sports.
This production of Grant High School football is brought to you by Grant Boosters. Grant Boosters raises money for Grant High School's many diverse clubs and athletic teams. Grant's clubs and teams keep our kids inspired, active, and connected. The success of Grant's clubs and teams would not be possible without the support of parents, friends, and family like you. Please give what you can to help us reach.
First down 10 for the Generals. And good defense there by the Titans as Ion Titelli, a free safety, coming up there to make the play. And, I've been, pretty impressed with West Salem's ability to fly around to the football and really have caused some issues for the Generals thus far, especially there in the first half. Second quarter is a little bit different here, but good defense by the Titans thus far in the third. Inside give, Goings gives it off to his man Dede, and he will pick up about 4. And so another third down and 6 here for the Generals.
Simple, but I really love that play call right there. It really sets the tone of what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish on the offensive side of things here. And it looks like they might play with a little momentum here, a little tempo. Let's see what they provide here for us to watch. Just one receiver here on the bottom.
Third down, 8, Goings with the pressure, and he will be taken down behind the line of scrimmage, and that's another sack there for the Titans as Kyle Mitsiawu, we've said his name quite a bit this contest, and another fourth down here for the Generals As that defense of West Salem continues to stymie the Generals, and the Generals have been having a difficult time getting things going here in the second half, Mitch.
Yeah, they need to figure out kind of where they were at. Just about 6 minutes left to go in the second quarter. They were really putting the ball in the air. They were deciding what they wanted to do prior to the snap of the football. So they need to get back to that mentality there. I'm not sure if they need maybe a big play on the defensive side of the ball here. We may end up really seeing an interesting aspect here on the offensive side of things for Grant, and more or less on the defensive side of things. Let's see if they continue playing that real down and dirty defense.
4th down and a long 10 here as the Generals will send the punting unit out. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, the Generals will be forced to punt in their own territory. Mitch Buchheit, Brian Gregg here on the call. Don't go anywhere.
I was talking to Bill.
Yeah?
Bill and Sherry got a guy.
They do? How did they get a guy?
Everything happened online, including financing. And their guy even delivered their new car to their home.
Maybe we should get a guy.
I thought you might say that. Honey, meet Kyle.
Find your guy during the Ram Power Days going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford and on lithiasuperstore.com. Not a dealership, a partnership.
This year, don't just replace your windows, renew them with beautiful and energy-efficient windows from Bill's Glass. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home.
4th down and 10. Generals with the excellent punt here. And the Titans will raise the hand in the air with the right as Nick Passley will take over at his own 21-yard line. So, as we talked about in the first half, Mitch, bit of a heavyweight bout. Titans came out in the first half, kind of throwing some bows there. John Beck and company came out with a little left. Now, all of a sudden, I think you got to go to the judges' card here. And it's what, 10-9, 9-10, 10-9, 10-9, 8-9?
It's got to be at this point, man. I think both of these guys might win this match. I don't know. This is a real tough battle going on. Just a real showing of some athleticism, fortitude down there on the football field.
As the Titans will give this one off to their big man up the middle, and he plows his way through as Arian Jacobo lowering the shoulder, and he laid some hat there. As we have a banged-up general
great
there.
Lick.
And a banged-up general there, and we'll take another timeout. 1st down from the Titan, 35. Mitch Buchheit, Brian Gregg, don't go anywhere.
This production of Grant High School football is brought to you by Grant Boosters. Grant Boosters raises money for Grant High School's many diverse clubs and athletic teams. Grant's clubs and teams keep our kids inspired, active, and connected. The success of Grant's clubs and teams would not be possible without the support of parents, friends, and family like you. Please give what you can to help us reach our fundraising goal for this year. You can do so directly online at grantgives.com. Friends of Grant Football is a non-profit organization that exists to build on Grant's strong football tradition, providing long-term viability and to provide the resources required to support the Grant football community, past, present, and future. Friends of Grant Football would like to thank our 2019 Grant Football corporate and individual supporters and sponsors in the theme of our mission. Friends of Grant Football.
13-9. Generals with a bit of a lead here. A touchdown here would make it a 2-point lead for the Titans. The extra point would make it a 3-point lead. Has the Titans given off once again to the big man, Arian Chicago, the big 6'3", 215-pound running back, pounded his way off the right-hand side. And, boy, that is sure a load to take on there up the middle as the Generals find themselves having to really get a number of bodies onto him to bring that big guy down.
Well, it must be real nice here for the West Salem Titans as they do have a whole committee of running backs, as we've seen 3 different guys just line up in the tailback position here just getting a dive, 32 dive, a counter play every now and then. But really, these guys have just been a whole committee of running backs back there as they've just been subbing guys in, keeping legs fresh that way. I think at this point, the only sore leg out there is the punters.
So as the Titans now, we're going to go to a bit of a hurry-up offense, taking a page out of Chip Kelly's book. As Jackson Lowry will call the play, he'll send 2 receivers to the top, 1 at the bottom. And the Generals show blitz, and they will give it off once again to the big fella. And Mr. Jacaba will pick up another first down. So the Generals unable to capitalize as they showed blitz there, but Jacaba doing an excellent job maneuvering his way around the inside there by the big fellas, and he picks up another first down.
Yeah, I wonder if the Grant here, if we shouldn't have some sort of spy on this running back. It looks like they were able to make the play there in the backfield.
So good defense there. As this time Jackson Montfort, the linebacker, comes up to make the stick there. And so the Titans will lose about 2 yards. Mitch, are you ready for your Grant trivia here?
Oh, absolutely.
1963, Grant won their first state championship. You know who they played? I'll give you a clue. They're north of us right now.
Most likely, Jesuit?
North Salem.
North Salem. Should have probably picked that hint up.
North Salem. What made that game unique, it was a 7-7 tie.
Wow.
It was a tie state championship in 1963. They played at Multnomah Stadium up in Portland.
Exhilarating.
So there's your stat of the day.
Yeah, I love it.
Stat of the day. As Jackson looking for his receiver, scampering down the right-hand side as he was looking for, once again, Zariah Powell, and he's unable to haul that one in. But, boy, the General sure dodged a bullet there as Powell had an open seam, and he was just unable to capitalize and reel that one in.
Yeah, it really looked like there was a defensive confusion there. It looked like a safety was supposed to get that back third, and the cornerback was supposed to keep up there. Most likely playing a cover 3, but it looks like he hit a seam there. He really did hit a seam. Got pretty lucky as the Generals didn't give up any large chunk plays there.
Mitch, did you ever grow up reading children's books?
Children's books. Well, I was a child at one point.
Well, did you know that the author, Beverly Clary, if that name rings a bell?
Oh, yeah.
She's a graduate of Grant High School. As the Grant Generals with the interception after the tip ball, and this time it'll be Jamison Price, and he will scamper his way all the way down to the 45-yard line. So Beverly Clary all fired up there after the interception. And so now the Generals have an opportunity to extend their lead after the excellent interception as the fans on the far side are going nuts. And those young men in white with blue shells are just hopping around here as they have an opportunity to add some more points to the board here after the excellent interception.
Well, here's some more great news here for the Generals as I just saw Dede run out and shoulder tap a fellow player there, limping off, of course, but he was on his own power there, was able to make out there and celebrate with his teammate. Big play.
So Speedy Dede wants to get that football once again, but Logan Going would sure like to add to his point total as he has himself 1 touchdown on the day. As the reverse there, off to the speedster, Mr. Davis breaks 1 tackle, scampers his way all the way down to the 31-yard line. So head coach John Beck pulling a bit of trickery out as the reverse, and Mr. Davis capitalizes. He scampers to pick up a nice gain of 24 yards.
And he'd been setting that up for a long time right there. You can tell that just based off his play calls, looks like we got an illegal block, unfortunately.
So after you and I get a little bit excited there, all of a sudden the official said, hey, you two up there at the top, we're backing this one up here. So, again, Mitch, penalties seem to be the Achilles heel for the Generals here in this contest.
I could barely count that high at this point.
So after the excellent reverse for Tamon Davis, unfortunately the officials found that a rule had been broken, and the official signaled that it was a holding call as Logan will send 2 to the top, drops back, looking for his open receiver, and this one is incomplete. as he was looking for Jarrell Bingham
Just
across the middle.
Sorry about that, Brian. Just a great disguise there on the defensive side of the ball there by West Salem. They really disguised the blitz. The linebackers were playing really far up there by the defensive linemen just to show Logan, they may be blitzing, and that's a key department there if you're on the defensive side of the ball. So the Grant Generals do need to take that into consideration here moving forward.
So Going's now going to signal to send 3 guys to the top, 1 at the bottom. And another penalty flag here, and it's going to be a false start on the Generals. So, again, yellow hankies are not used to minimize your sneeze count, but unfortunately it's your penalty count.
I'm surprised those flags are still yellow and not black at this point. They've been on the turf so much.
Davis in the gun. 3 at the top, 1 at the bottom. Titan show blitz. Got to get rid of it, and he does, and this one is complete. As I apologize, it is not complete. It will be incomplete, as that one was intended for the big man, Peter Zahari.
Man, thought he had that one, too. It would have been a great catch.
So 3rd down and 20.
That's the old distraction drill there as a wide receiver, as the referee just about took one in the chops.
So Going, looking down the barrel of the gun at 3rd down and 20. Looking for his man, rolls out, and he will be sacked behind the line of scrimmage. Has the big fellow once again for the Titans coming up from his D tackle position. Has Andrew Shaw, the 6'1", 230-pound senior, gets to Going, and so now the Generals once again are forced to punt.
Yep, looks like he had a little help there from Josiah Martin, and was able to make that tackle, finish off that play, bring up a 4th down for the Generals, and they're going to go ahead and send out the punt team. Very familiar with this formation here this evening, as I'm not certain how many punts we have here tonight, but I know we're getting close to double digits.
Well, Mitch, again, with this broadcast would not be possible without our wonderful sponsors that make this opportunity happen. As the sky-high punt takes a Titans bounce, and the Titans will have the ball at the Generals' 48-yard line. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention another wonderful sponsor for Grant General football. Thanks to Scott Humis of Silver City Brewery for his kind donation to Friends of Grant football. So thank you so much, Scott, for the wonderful contribution to Grant football to make this opportunity possible. So if you're watching out there, thanks so much for the work that you do, and I'm sure that the Generals can hear you rooting them on right now, as they had not an ideal punt there, Mitch, and that definitely took a Titans bounce, and they have excellent field position right now.
Yeah, that one there, that one scraped the atmosphere there. That was a high kick. Could have punched out a light in the light pole there.
Looking for his man, right-hand side. And this one is incomplete out of the arms of Nick Passley, but he definitely had a step on Jayshon Pete, but unable to wrangle that one in. That's been a couple times that Nick has been open on the far side, but just that connection has not been there for Jackson Lowry thus far.
Yeah, it seems like the passes they should catch, they're dropping, and the passes they can't catch, they just can't catch. Jackson is struggling a little bit here with the long ball. But give Grant just the more benefit of the doubt here. They're playing great defense.
As Lowry, once again, will give it up to his big man up the middle there. Has the tackle made there by Caden Segal, the 6-foot junior, sticking his nose in there. Love to see it when the young men down in the trenches are poking their nose in there. Mitch, you weren't so much a D lineman. So
no, I was I was a flanker for sure. There, I was a slot back, a lot of out routes there, 5 and out. That was where I made all my money. The defensive side of the ball, I could jump higher than everybody. So I was up there. I was the first guy to make contact with the football as a defensive back.
As Lowry will give it off to his man, left-hand side. This is Nathan Garcia. And he will scamper his way for the 40-yard touchdown. after the great block up the middle, and all of a sudden the Titans have their second touchdown of the game to make it 15-13. So after we were talking about the great defense by the Generals, the Titans said, and they take this ball 40 yards, and they have their second lead of the game.
Yeah, you got to the defensive guy there, the last line of defense, he really did his job, made the guy cut back into the middle of the field. Unfortunately, there was no tacklers there to get him. Speedy guy right there.
So he scores right before the end of the third. As we had talked about, it's a heavyweight bout. It's been a pretty evenly matched card thus far, but I think it's safe to say that score is now 10-8 in a boxing bout, and they take advantage of the 40-yard scamper there by Nathan Garcia as the PAT is good. So John Beck finds himself down 3. Don't go anywhere, fans. We got ourselves a good one. Mitch Bukite, Brian Gregg here on the call. We'll be back. This sponsorship brought to you in part by Friends of Grant Football.
This production of Grant High School football is brought to you by Grant Boosters. Grant Boosters raises money for Grant High School's many diverse clubs and athletic teams. Grant's clubs and teams keep our kids inspired, active, and connected. The success of Grant's clubs and teams would not be possible without the support of parents, friends, and family like you. Please give what you can to help us reach our fundraising goal for this year. You can do so directly online at grantgives.com.
Nathan Garcia takes advantage of the great blocking up front from his big men in black, and he scampers 40 yards to get the second touchdown of the game for the Titans with 10 seconds remaining here in the third as the Generals find themselves in a black hole at this point right now. And this kick will go into the end zone, and the Generals will bring it out to their own 25-yard line. So
where's that been all game?
Boy, Mitch, we talked about it being a heavyweight bout. We thought the card was scored 10-9, 9-10, 10-9, 9-10, but I think that round there at the end of the third scored 10 for the Titans, 8 for the Generals.
Big punch landed there. That was it's time for a gut check. You got to figure out a way to get the ball down the field. Great kick by the West Salem Titans to put you back on the 20 there as a touchback. It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity right here to get down the field. It looks like they're going with the normal setback.
And that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. So the Generals find themselves down 3 in another dogfight. Can they pull this one out? Last week they were able to. Don't go anywhere. We got ourselves a good one. Mitch Bukite, Brian Gregg will be back. Live coverage, Grant Football.
Let's go! At US Cellular, we heard you. You want a wireless plan that works for you. That's why we're giving you unlimited data for just $30 on a network ranked #1 in network quality performance. All that and no hidden fees. That's the best value in wireless. That work for you? US Cellular. Choose fair.
For the best deals in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere, visit Siskiyou Cellular, your local US Cellular agent. 7 locations, including Central Point off Plaza Boulevard.
Doctors James Savage and Rajiv Rajagopal are happy to welcome Dr. Brian Clevenger to the Associates for Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery. Their offices in Medford, Grants Pass, and Klamath Falls practice a full scope of services, from corrective jaw surgery to wisdom teeth removal and much more. For more information or to schedule your complimentary dental implant consultation, call 541-779-3781.
Start of the fourth quarter here. Grant finds themselves down 3. They were very much in the same position last week. But certainly this has been 2 teams that are really, I would say, evenly matched, Mitch. I wouldn't imagine there's one team that really jumps out at you. I would say the running of the Titans has been excellent. But penalties and turnovers, unfortunately, have been the Achilles heel for the Generals.
If you were to ask me to answer this truthfully, I would say Grant is the better team here tonight. Unfortunately, they've been penalized to the point where they are actually not on top. They're not winning the football game based purely on penalties. There's not a lot more you can base their defense. I mean, giving up 16 points at this point in the ball game, excellent job. Large chunk play last series, which was unfortunate. However, that is a football game. And, again, that heavyweight bout we've been talking about all evening just continues here tonight. But you really have to focus here. You got from the general side of the ball on the offense here, you got to get down the field. You've got to prove to these guys that you can at least get to provide yourself into a position where you can at least tie the ball game. Punt coming on, you're going to need to get a defensive stop.
So, again, the Generals are forced to be in a punting situation as Max is close to getting that one blocked. Again, another penalty flag. And this one will take a Generals bounce all the way down to the Titans' 45-yard line. We'll check the flag. I believe it might have been a holding call, and it is. It's a holding on the Generals. So, as we have continued to talk about, Mitch, penalties has, boy, it's really, I'd say with confidence, that has allowed the Titans to stay in this football game because the penalties have just killed the Generals. And for head coach John Beck, or really any coach for that matter, penalties can just kill a drive and it can leave teams in football games.
Gosh, I'll tell you what, you're raising that blood pressure. John Beck, he is probably not a happy camper here. It might be a long ride back up to Portland, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of this football game left here this evening. We got 11 minutes, 10 seconds left. Titans up 16-13 against the Generals, but the defensive side of the ball here has been special here for the Generals. Again, besides the one chunk play, they've been outstanding. Let's see what it does look like. They come in with initially with a 3-4, so a 3-3 actually. So let's see what they do. They got a stack back. Looks like Didi's back.
Your man, Speedy Didi. Give it inside, left-hand side. This is the big fella. And the big fella scampers his way down. Josiah Martin, who scored on the last possession, and that'll be another first down for the Titans. So they continue to pound that football, as running of the football is certainly in the favor of the Titans as the Generals find themselves down 3.
Well, I tell you what, Brian, they switched out their running back again. Their tailbacks new from the last series. They keep switching them out. They're giving the opportunities to other backs.
Josiah Martin with the shifty. Shifty moves, and he scampers his way to another first down, and that'll stop the clock again. So, boy, if you're stopping the clock with first downs, boy, you're the Titans. I anticipate that the Generals have got to get a stop here if they want to, in essence, stop the bleeding right now, as the Titans are having really no difficulty moving this football here in the fourth quarter.
Got to get a defensive stop here. You really got to dig your heels down. It's like they may have got some help here.
After a really penalty-free game for the Titans, and after an excellent run there by the Titans, but it will be negated with a holding penalty.
Titans with single-digit penalties, though. It's really been the difference here as we really harp on that this evening. It's really been the difference in this ball game is penalties. It's been a slow ball game here. We're over 2 hours.
Yes, Josiah Martin, the 5'9 senior, 180-pound, will take the handoff over to the left-hand side. And that'll bring up another second down and a long, I'd say 14, Mitch.
Well, you just got to set yourself up for the next play with this one here. Second down and long, you got to set yourself up. You got to get 7-8 yards. Yep, that's a great timeout.
And we'll take the timeout with them. Generals find themselves down 3 as the Titans are running the football well. Don't go anywhere. 9:38 to go here in the fourth. You're watching live coverage of Grant football powered by Table Rock Sports.
Let's go! At US Cellular, we heard you. You want a wireless plan that works for you. That's why we're giving you unlimited data for just $30 on a network ranked #1 in network quality performance. All that and no hidden fees. That's the best value in wireless. That work for you? US Cellular. Choose fair.
For the best deals in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere, visit Siskiyou Cellular, your local US Cellular agent. 7 locations, including Central Point off Plaza Boulevard.
Doctors James Savage.
Welcome back to West Salem High School as the Generals find themselves in a black hole right now as that clock continues to run, as it is not in their favor at this point. As Jackson Lowry will go into the gun, gives it off to his man. Great stick there by the Generals. It's the big fella, Caden Segal, having himself an excellent football game. Sneaks his way in there and takes him down behind the line of scrimmage.
Just a great tackle, too. Blew up the line of scrimmage, took him down to the ground, doesn't let him go. Tackle for a loss.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down and long, 21. So right now the Generals are looking at what I would consider probably the most important defensive possession of the game thus far is right here, Mitch. You hold them here, you give yourself an opportunity to put yourself back in this football game.
And I'm surprised they came out in a 4-3 again. There's the screen pass that we always talk about on 3rd and long. Got to make the tackle. There you go.
The Titans will take advantage of it, but good defense there by the Generals.
Let's see what they decide to do here. This is 4-down territory. Nope. It does look like they're bringing out the punting formation. The West Salem Titans are going to punt it back to the Grant Generals, and they're going to get an opportunity to go down the field here and put some points on the board. 16-13, they are down. So let's go ahead and see what they decide to do. I don't know if they're going to just punt it in the end zone, if they're going to give an opportunity. I know that Jay-Sean Pete, he's back there very anxious. I can see him right now. He really wants that football.
And another good punt. Tavon Davis stand his own 5, and this one will take a Titans bounce, and that's where they will take over. So low and goings. Can he march his team 90 yards to take the lead? We'll find out. We'll take a quick timeout. But when we come back, Logan Goins and company will have to march 90 yards to try to take the lead. Live coverage, Grant football. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go! At US Cellular, we heard you. You want a wireless plan that works for you. That's why we're giving you unlimited data for just $30 on a network ranked #1 in network quality performance. All that and no hidden fees. That's the best value in wireless. That work for you? US Cellular. Choose fair.
For the best deals in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere, visit
90 yards is what Mr. Goins is looking at, and Cruz, he gives it off to the big fella. He's got some room. Down the left-hand side, Jay-Sean Pete, and it'll be finally brought down at the 45-yard line. Great run there by Jay-Sean.
Man, well done by the offensive line again. You could get a Mack truck through that line there and absolutely just, call out Moses there. He really had a great run. Again, Jay-Sean Pete with a great run. Only a junior, Brian.
He's coming back, folks. 7:35 to go here. As Goings will send 2 to the top, 2 at the bottom. Low snaps, got pressure, got to get rid of it, and this one is almost intercepted. Has the big fella for the Titans, 64, Ethan Hopp, the senior, coming off the edge there, and boy, Mr. Goings was pretty close to something a little more disastrous.
Man, I thought he was going to get popped there. I'm just glad he's still up and able to throw the football around. Boy, Ethan Hopp coming around the corner with a little bit of speed. He got banged up a little earlier in the game, I noticed. He was limping around, so he must be feeling a lot better here with that hit.
So going in the gun, he'll send 2 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Man in motion, McCullough fakes to give, keeps it himself, and he will get back to the line of scrimmage. And so now the Generals look at a very big 3rd down and 10. And we talked about it when the Generals were on defense. That was a huge defensive possession. Now, 6:57 to go here. You're looking at a 3rd down, a long 9 here, Mitch. I have a feeling that this is a huge play here for the Generals.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they call. I don't know if they're going to do maybe a flare route with Jay-Sean Pete to go out and perhaps try to catch something on the far side of the field from us here. It looks like they got a few blockers out there. We'll see if they do a little flare route.
3 to the top, 1 at the bottom, going in the gun, looking for his man downfield to the left, and this one will be intercepted. As the interception by the Titans, and this time it'll be Nathan Garcia, as Logan was looking for his man along the left-hand side. He was looking for Jay-Sean, and he didn't see Mr. Garcia come out from his free safety positions. And the interception will take place, and the Titans will now have the football on the Generals' 38-yard line. So a crucial, Mitch, 3rd down and 8, and unfortunately unable to capitalize there. And now they've got to dig deep.
Yeah, it doesn't get any larger than this here as far as the defensive stop. You've got to really get down and dirty, get muddy. You know, there's no mud down there. You got to find it.
Got to find it. I'm certain that right now that head coach John Beck is telling his team, fellas, let's get this football back.
Interesting decision there by Logan. Going on the short side of the field with a long throw.
As Jackson looking for his man down the right-hand side, and this time it's complete to Nick Pasley, and they've been looking at that one all night, and this time, at the perfect time for him, he's able to haul that one in after the great throw and catch there for the Titans. So, boy, after an unfortunate interception there by Mr. Goings, the Titans come out throwing right away. And
yeah, really trying to capitalize on that mistake, and unfortunately here for Grant, they were able to do that.
And they are 4 yards away from extending their lead.
And just going back on that pass there from Logan, he decided to go to the short side of the field. Unfortunately, up here in the press box, we could see it kind of developing pretty easily there as the free safety was ball hawking, I believe is what they call it in the league. And
the young kids.
He came over, was able to make a really fine play as he was got the ball at the highest point there. It was the highest guy on the field, got the ball, brought it down, secured it, made the interception. It was just interesting here as a 3rd and long, and they decide to go to the short side of the field instead of the long side of the field where they had 3 receiving blockers.
Jackson Lowry, 4 yards from extending his Titan lead. Give it off to the big man, right-hand side, Arian Jacobo.
Great stop.
And he'll get to about the 2-yard line. And fans, I want to remind you, the Oregon Army National Guard is proud to be a gold-level supporter of Friends of Grant football. The Guard dates back to, is almost as old as you, Mitch, 1636.
Almost.
When citizen soldiers formed militias to defend community and country. Thank you to our wonderful men and women who protect this wonderful country, as the Generals are trying to use some of their own rankings themselves and protect the end zone here, and they did a nice job there protecting their territory on a 3rd down situation, and they hold the Titans.
Just 2 great defensive stops there. Let's see what they mark up. I know they're in the goal line defense. The receivers are obsolete at this point here for West Salem. I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to do. I don't know why they're not bringing in a more tight formation on the offensive side here for West Salem. Perhaps giving the Grant, giving these guys an opportunity here to make a stop and make them. They're going to call a timeout and kind of discuss things here for West Salem.
Well, Mitch, we'll keep it right here because I want to make sure that we recognize our wonderful sponsors who make this opportunity and for us to be able to bring our fans all the live action. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Ackright Foundation was founded by Kenneth Acker, former Grant alum and athlete and NFL player for the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Kenneth Acker brought his generosity to Friends of Grant football as a gold-level sponsor, helping our players with the important equipment that they need to be safe and effective. The Ackright Foundation also sponsored our first Grant-hosted 7-on-7 tournament this year. Kenneth Acker and the Ackright Foundation has brought incredible examples for our players of what can be accomplished through hard work in sports and education. So thank you so much to Kenneth Acker here. Mitch, by the way, speaking of NFL, how's your fantasy football team doing right now?
Oh, I'll tell you what. I play in 3 different leagues, and I'm 2-1 in every single league. So there's a little excitement brewing, but I also have Antonio Brown in every league. So we got a readjustment going on.
And nobody wanted to take him here. So the Generals trying to keep the Titans out of the end zone.
Come on.
As the Titans show heavy set, and they're able to capitalize on that one there, and they get across the goal line as the Titans have their 3rd touchdown of the game with 4:59 left to go here. And all of a sudden that door is getting a little bit tighter, Mitch. And they are a PAT away from making this a 10-point lead. And could be a tough way to go if they're unable to capitalize and put some points on the board. A good snap, good hold. The kick is up. It looks good, and it is good. So after the Generals held the Titans to a 4th and inches, the Titans capitalized it. We'll take a quick timeout, but when we come back, John Beck's going to have to reach deep into the playbook to try to put his team
Let's go! At US Cellular, we heard you. You want a wireless plan that works for you. That's why we're giving you unlimited data for just $30 on a network ranked #1 in network quality performance. All that and no hidden fees. That's the best value in wireless. That work for you? US Cellular. Choose fair.
For the best deals in wireless on a network that works in the middle of anywhere, visit Siskiyou Cellular, your local US Cellular agent. 7 locations, including Central Point off Plaza Boulevard.
Doctors James Savage and Rajiv Rajagopal are happy to welcome Dr. Brian Clevenger to the Associates for Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery. Their offices in Medford, Grants Pass, and Klamath Falls practice a full scope of services from corrective jaw surgery.
23-13. The young men in black are the team that right now has himself a 10-point lead as they continue with that pooch kick that they have really kicked pretty effectively here in most of this game. And you can certainly see that the young men in black and green helmets are pretty fired up, and they have reason to be as they got the number 9 team in the state on the ropes right now, Mitch.
You know, it's a great point, Brian. They have to figure out a way here as far as the Grant Generals. They have to figure out a way to get the ball down the field here. Being down 10 points, there's a lot of time left here in high school football. This is a lot of time. 5 minutes, 9 seconds. We have an opportunity to get back into this ball game. 1 score, that's all you need. 1 big play really is all you need. And that's very capable here with this starting field position.
So Logan Goings, who has not had really what you would consider an excellent football game, he has found himself with 3 interceptions in this game thus far, as he will give it off to his man, Speedy Dede, down the right-hand side, breaks 1 tackle, and he will pick up about 3 as that clock continues to run. And that clock is certainly not in the favor of the young men in all white with blue shells, as I'm certain that they are going to go to their hurry-up offense at this point. Is you've got to get some points on the board as you find yourself down 10.
You do have all 3 timeouts remaining here in the ball game for the Generals.
Goings, good completion, right-hand side, and that pass is complete to his big man, tight end, Peter Zahari, and he does an excellent job realizing that he needs to get out of bounds, and so that'll stop the clock.
Just a real heads-up play there, huh, Brian?
Certainly this is that point right now where you find out how disciplined of a football team you have right now, and so they certainly have got to push the ball down the field with 4:37 to go here in the 4th. Going in the gun, 2 receivers at the bottom. Give it to Dede. Dede's got some trouble. Left-hand side, tries to get the stiff arm, and he cannot elude the tackler. And he will get back to the initial line of scrimmage as that clock will continue to run. And I anticipate that Dede was probably trying to get out of bounds there because staying inbound does not fall in the favor of the Generals.
Unfortunately, I could actually see he's not 100% right now. I think there's something, a little ailment there going on. He didn't get to the corner like he typically does when he gets the football. He doesn't get caught getting to that corner very often. So I wonder if he may be dealing with something bugging him a little bit there in the lower body.
Goings in the gun. He'll send his man McCullough in motion. Titan show blitz. Goings drops back. Pressure. It's got to get rid of it. And this one will be incomplete as he had to get rid of that one as the black swarm was coming through that offensive line. And this one will be incomplete, and that'll bring up a third down and a long 13. And, Mitch, I think it's only appropriate right now that we congratulate two wonderful people who will come together tomorrow in holy matrimony at Tether Row. So to Haley and to Connor, congratulations to both of you. Mitch and I will be there tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So we're looking forward to watching you two tie the knot together. So as Goings will now once again go into the gun. Double tight, 2 at the top. As Goings drops back. Again, that pressure, ball downfield, and this one is caught. Caught by Luke McCullough with the acrobatic and athletic catch.
Wow.
And he gets all the way down to the 20-yard line.
Well, he almost had the last play there. He almost had the one-handed catch, and when Goins was on a scramble and kind of just threw it to whoever might be around in that area, and he almost had the one-handed catch, able to come up with 2 hands on that ball with a big chunk play, and really the Grant Generals looking to really put some 6 to 7 points here on the board.
Got to get a touchdown here. 3:26 to go here in the fourth. Generals find themselves down 10. Going sends McCullough in motion. Swing pass right-hand side, and he will be taken down behind the line of scrimmage.
Now, Brian, what do you do here? Do your mentality, do you go for that score? Do you play a little conservative just to try to get the 3 because you know you need a 3 and a 7?
I was really at this point, Mitch, I really don't think it makes a difference. I mean, any points on the board is ideal. Certainly you have to anticipate that whatever points do get on the board, they're going to come back the other way with an onside kick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the bigger question is if you're the Generals right now, you have 3 timeouts here. You certainly know that those timeouts are going to be critical and crucial. If you do get some points on the board here, you've got to conserve your timeouts. And so I think there's 2 pieces that are important here. The first, hold on to the football. The second piece is you got to get out of bounds right here.
Absolutely.
First down stops the clock. Out of bounds stops the clock as well. So 2 things here. So we'll find out the discipline. And this is really, Mitch, as you talked about, you got to dig deep. And I like the way you said that here. And I think this is a perfect example of a time where we're going to have an opportunity to see it.
As a receiver, you have to be thinking. You cannot go into this next play without the next step or the next play in your brain. If you catch the ball inbounds, get the ball to the official so he can set that play, get it going, so you don't have to waste that time out. You can save those for the defensive side of the ball.
Goings in the gun, 2 at the top. Rolls out far side. Looking for McCullough, back of the end zone, incomplete. As he had a step on him, was just unable to capitalize there as Mr. McCullough ran a great route down the right-hand side, but just out the outstretched arms there and unable to haul that one in.
You know, if you're going to miss, you got to miss long.
Sure.
You know, and that's just a great recognition there by Tutu, you know, and he's really thinking that, again, you got to set yourself up for the next play.
Going in the gun, again, sends 1 to the top, 2 at the bottom. As the Titans show blitz. Going roll out near side. Got pressure. And this one is caught, and this one is complete, and that will be close to a first down. As Quinn Gerald, the junior, running a nice route there, and that will be just short of the first down. So that'll bring up a 4th down and 2. And in essence here, Mitch, I anticipate that this is really the most important possession of the entire contest due to the fact that it's a 4th down and 2 right now.
Couldn't agree more. At this point, you really have to figure out a way to get that first down.
4th down and 2. Crucial. Goings rolls out right-hand side looking for his man, and this one is incomplete as that one was intended for Peter Zahari. And the Titans will take over after they're unable to convert the 4th down. And the Titans are 2 minutes and 11 seconds away to going 2-1 on the year. And an unfortunately, they were unable to put points on the board. I'm a little bit surprised, Mitch, on that 4th and 3 there, as we talked about, that head coach John Beck didn't kick the field goal. Now you kind of put yourself out of it at this point.
I was questioning the call just kind of in general with the formation and with a play action. It takes a long time for those plays to develop, and I understand that the tight ends with a chip block and rolling out just a little kind of a gradual route towards the far sideline. Couldn't make the play, unfortunately. Logan just threw it just a little out of the reach there of the receiver. But you've got to understand that play, that opportunity, you can't throw it long. Logan's got to make that catch, or that throw. He's got to make that completion.
So the Titans here,
but very interesting call,
have the commanding lead here, and the ball comes out, but the official says that he was down, as that clock will continue to run as we hit 1:58 here.
Grant really did get a luxury with a small injury timeout there, the last possession. Didn't have to waste the timeout. So let's see if that comes into play here. They still have all 3 timeouts available. Less than 2 minutes, but they still have all 3 timeouts. They need 2 scores.
I'm a little bit surprised that Coach Beck is not utilizing his timeouts as they're looking at 2nd down and 5. As they'll give it off to the big man once again, 2-2. We've called his name all night, Nathan Garcia, who has found the end zone twice in this contest. And that'll be another first down there for the Titans. And barring anything outlandish here, Mitch, I would anticipate that the Grant Generals will head out of here, unfortunately, with a number on the wrong side of the win-loss column.
Nathan Garcia may be going home with a football here this evening. He's had a great game. That ball could be going home with him there, that game ball.
So that clock continues to run as we hit 60 seconds. And a timeout will be called here by the Titans. We'll take it with them. 55 seconds to go here. Titans on top by 10. Mitch Bukite, Brian Gregg. Don't go anywhere.
I was talking to Bill.
Yeah?
Bill and Sherry got a guy.
They do? How did they get a guy?
Everything happened online, including financing. And their guy even delivered their new car to their home.
Maybe we should get a guy.
I thought you might say that. Honey, meet Kyle.
Find your guy during the Ram Power Days going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford.
Welcome back to the state's capital, West Salem, here at the Black Hole, as that is a very happy black and green football team down there, as they are 55 seconds away to going 2-1, and the Generals looking at a 2-1 on the year, as Garcia will be the ball carrier. And that clock will continue to...
Well, you got to call a timeout here. I'm not sure. I hope he's aware we can't save these for next week.
Well, he does have all 3 timeouts, but Coach Beck is going to rescind his opportunity to call a timeout, and the Titans will line up in the...
It's good sportsmanship there by both teams. Really great sportsmanship. Grant could bleed it out, call those 3 timeouts, decided not to. Great sportsmanship.
As that clock trickles down, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and that will do it. So the Generals have their first road contest of the year. They visit the Black Hole, and they are unable to walk out of here with a win, as West Salem takes it to the Generals of the PIL. So both teams will go to 2-1 on the year. After Mitch and I talked about most of the game, it was a heavyweight bout. But West Salem got the last punch in there in that 12th round And I think it definitely got the legs of the Generals a little wobbly there.
Yep.
And that's where we leave it as your final score, 23-13. So we'll take another timeout, and when we come back, Mitch and myself will provide our thoughts for this game and what we can look forward to. So final score from West Salem, 23-13. Don't go anywhere, fans. We'll provide our insights and look forward here for head coach John Beck and what they can look forward to. You've been watching live coverage of Grant football, powered by Table Rock Sports.
I was talking to Bill.
Yeah?
Bill and Sherry got a guy.
They do? How did they get a guy?
Everything happened online, including financing. And their guy even delivered their new car to their home.
Maybe we should get a guy.
I thought you might say that. Honey, meet Kyle.
Find your guy during the Ram Power Days going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford and on lithiasuperstore.com. Not a dealership, a partnership.
This year, don't just replace your windows, renew them with beautiful and energy-efficient windows from Bill's Glass. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home or auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 40 years. Bill's Glass in Ashland and Medford, and now Bill's Glass in Grants Pass.
And welcome back to West Salem High School as the Fighting John Becks unable to move to 3-0 as they fought a pesky West Salem Titan football game team, Mitch. And boy, I think there's a couple things that jump out at us here. First of all, you know, I never like to talk about the negatives of a game, but I certainly think it's a glaring point. We won't talk too much about it. But I think the big number that jumps out at us is the penalties that the Generals committed in this football game. I believe we tallied up 17 penalties in this contest.
17. I don't remember the last time I saw a number as high as 17 for one team.
Yeah. That makes winning football games pretty difficult here.
Yeah.
And I certainly think that is a glaring spot for Grant. You take away a lot of those penalties, and I think it's a different football game.
And I think an important part of that too is it's 17 penalties, and I'm not sure on the number, but a lot of those are on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, as you can imagine, not saying anything too relevant here, but hard to score points when you're moving backwards on the offensive side of the ball.
So true.
Defense did show up. They'd had a great game. Again, the one chunk play, that was really about it. They did get beat on a couple series, as the score will tell you. But really, they had a great evening here in West Salem. It just didn't get a big turnover at the end of the ball game, which they needed to catch back up playing from behind. But just didn't offensive side of the ball, didn't give an opportunity to really put themselves in a position where they could control the game. From a ground and pound standpoint. But they've got to figure that out for next week. They got a huge game back home against Roosevelt, and then we're on the road 3 games in a row. So it's going to be a real test of time there, and what they're really made of is they got the Barlow, they got the Jefferson and Madison all on the road. So those are going to be a big test for this Grant team here in deciding what they want to do with this season. If they want to put their best foot forward, move forward with the season with W's, it's going to be up to John Beck and his team there.
And I think we'd be remiss if we at least didn't tip our hat to the ground game of West Salem. I mean, they definitely controlled the line of scrimmage. They definitely controlled the trenches, and I think that's a spot that Coach Beck will definitely go back when he watches the film to say, how do we minimize the running game on the defensive side here? And I anticipate that West Salem is going to be a pretty good football team, as they find themselves, playing in a very difficult Mountain Valley Conference, as they will take on the perennial powerhouse next week, and they'll take on the Irish of Sheldon. And then they welcome the Beavers of Beaverton back home. And then they head over to take on the Saxons of South Salem here. So not an easy road for them, but I anticipate to watch this football team start creeping up at the end of October, at the beginning of November here. But in any event, Mitch, the Generals have got to go back to the drawing board, especially on those penalties, and be able to stop the run. But as we had talked about, most of this contest here was a heavyweight bout, and West Salem was victorious at the end. They just landed that one big punch, especially down the right-hand side when there was that connection to Nick Passley down on the right-hand side there with about 6 minutes to go in that contest. That was kind of the shot that hit the Generals in the chin, and they were never really unable to respond thereafter.
Yeah, to be honest with you, they really had a lot of control most of the game. They controlled the line of scrimmage, as you mentioned, and it's just so difficult in a football game to win a football game if you're not in control. You've got to be able to get the possession, the time of possession, I should say, on your side. That's such a huge – you watch any level of football. You watch the Patriots. The Patriots control the ball. They control the time of possession. That's what they do. It's so vital to a football team to have that. It's difficult to do on the road. You're unfamiliar with everything. You're playing an out-of-conference game here this evening. This isn't a familiar foe for you, so you've got to figure out a way to bounce back next week. Big game, big opportunity, wipe the slate. And John Beck, I know he's going to have those guys ready to go next week, and I'm really excited.
Next week, the Generals will have a home game as they'll welcome in the Rough Riders of Roosevelt. Pregame show 6:30. We'll kick this one off here at 7 o'clock. And before we get out of here, I want to make sure that we recognize our wonderful sponsors again who make this broadcast possible. The National Guard, the Ackright Foundation, Squires Electric, Bodie Tree Clinic, Parkside Orthodontics, Blind Onion, Friends of Grant Football, Tammy Going, Widmer Realtors, and Moon and Sixpence, and last but not least, Scott Humus at Silver City Brewery. So, Mitch, any last words before I sign us off and we pack this thing up and head over to the wedding? We head over to Tetherow.
Yeah.
And again, congratulations to Connor and Haley, who'll be
Haley McNay.
Who'll be tying the knot tomorrow. But any last thoughts before we close this one out?
Well, I'm just really excited to watch this team moving forward. They really did show a lot of positive traits here this evening. A lot of long completions. Logan, great quarterback. He's going to have a fantastic year this year. They do a lot of shotgun formations. Not a lot of under center for Logan. So he's going to have a lot of opportunities. Throw the ball around, run it around, do some RPOs. So we're going to see. It's going to be fun. The rest of the year, once we get the home game under our belt next week, I think we're going to jump right back up and kind of land on our feet. I know we got a little punch drunk here this evening, but we're going to be back next week, next Friday, pregame again, 6:30.
6:30.
6:30.
We're tipping. We're gonna start this one. Mitch, great to have you part of the broadcast, brother. Looking forward to having you next week. So,
a lot of fun.
So from Mitch Bukite, I'm Brian Gregg here. As the Generals come into Titan country and are unable to capitalize on this one. Again, your final score here from West Salem. The Titans victorious 23-13. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and God bless you all. Good night from West Salem.
Friends of Grant Football is a non-profit organization that exists to build on Grant's strong football tradition, providing long-term viability and to provide the resources required to support the Grant football community, past, present, and future. Friends of Grant Football would like to thank our 2019 Grant Football corporate and individual supporters and sponsors in the theme of our mission. Friends of Grant Football strives to enrich the lives of players, students, alumni, and administration by providing a program that sustains generation after generation in the pursuit of academic and athletic excellence. Our values are aligned with a tradition that extends beyond many generations of alumni who have passed through the hallways, representing PIL leadership in a challenging and supportive athletic environment. The foundation of the Generals is built on integrity, accountability, inclusion, and a proud competitive spirit. Please visit friendsofgrantfootball.com to join our efforts and participate within our Grant football community.